ColinFurze, you must build a tank! Is exactly what World of Tanks have asked me to do. Yes, World of Tanks, the free online multiplayer battle game, have said, Colin, as master builder on the internet, we challenge you to make a tank. Now, if I was to look to the game for inspiration, they have got a massive array of tanks. There's about 550 tanks in the game. They come from, you know, First World War, Second World War, all sorts of different makes and models and all that. So they've got various different terrains we can look at climbing across. Of course, they've got their battle arenas. You know, there's lots. There's lots in there. But Colin plays differently, doesn't he? I like to think outside the box, and I'm thinking, no, sure, I want to make a tank with tracks on it. I want to do something a little bit different, because that's what we like at the ColinFurze channel. We like to be different, don't we? Yes, we do. Okay, so I want to make a screw tank. Now, it's like a corkscrew or an Archimedes screw. Put this on the ground and turn it. Obviously, it would just roll across the terrain like that. That's no good. But if you stop it, so if you fix it, either end, and then try and push it, obviously, like a screw thread, it wants to worm its way forward. Now, if you have two of them, either side of your vehicle, turning against each other, it kind of tracks forward. They'll grow logs, everything. They can go all over the place. It's quite a versatile machine. And you don't see many of them, so I thought we'd have a go at building one of them. Now, as a little bonus for you viewers, if you type the promo code TANKTASTIC into World of Tanks, you get yourself a free T127 tank, 500 gold, and 7 days premium access. It's all good. Right, just measure my arm a minute. About 700. That'll come in handy. Mr. Archimedes Screw, we shall make you. Right, so this is basically going to be half of a screw. There'll be another bit on top of it, and then we'll also have a peak on the end to help it like kind of scale up rocks and stuff. Now, because we're joining two of them together, they've got to be absolutely spot on. If they're a little bit wonky, then they won't join together properly, and you'll end up with like, it'll just go crazy and like just mess itself to bits. So everything's got to be at right angles, properly clamped together. Now, first thing I want to do, I don't want to overlap the two bits of metal like this. So we're going to mark down here, and we're going to stick it in the bead roller and put like a little bit of a, like a kick sort of thing. So one of them like kind of kicks underneath it, and then we can weld that up, weld all the bits in, tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, and then hopefully we'll have a perfectly round, square, true cylinder. And then we need another one and a cone. There we go, finished. Pretty good. Seam looks nice. It's not too heavy. Try to make it as light as possible because weight is not our friend on this project. So that's that one done. Just need one more, Colin. got 2 of them. Next off, make the pointy bit. What else could you use that for? Just reach these bolts. I knew that measurement we took earlier would come in handy. We got a back and we've got a front. Put the cone on the top there. I've not finished the very tip of it off because I need to know exactly where the centre is, and to do that we're going to slide the axle through, which is a 50mm bit of bar at the moment. Slide that through to keep that dead centre. I've made these little patterns which kind of go over the studs on the inside, hold it dead centre so we can slide it through, and then right on the end I've got this little flange which I've put some captive nuts on already. Slide that over, weld it to the tip of the cone, and then therefore if the tip of the cone's a little bit off or anything like that, this will be exactly where it needs to be, so it won't really matter. And then down the other end I've got this plate as well. Right, let's get on with that and then we'll see. Ooh. Have you seen my tube? Ah, the phone! Oh, this is not the most interesting of footage now, is it? Tube gives birth to man! That's alright, isn't it? It's not bad. It's got a little bit of a wobble, but we're only talking like 2 or 3 mil sort of thing. I can cope with that. It's pretty strong as well, look. Holds me. People always said I should make a nuke for 10 million subscribers. Here we are. Right, next thing we need to do is the screwy bit, the screw thread. Now, they mess around with various different patterns and whatnot, and various ways of attaching it on, and although this is quite a good way of doing it, material wise this is not a very efficient way for me to cut stuff out because I can only get 1 of these out of my squares. So I'm going to go for quarters because I can get 9 of them on my plasma cutter, which is a revolution and a bit. I did mess around with trying put little bends on them and little kicks to try and make it sit on slightly different. No, just going to go straight quarter, whack it on there. Right! Yeah! Where's Colin gone? Colin's over here, and he knocked it over.
Sometimes in life you meet folks who do the kind of things that disappoint you. There is one thing I'll say to them.
You got to be pleased with that. That looks awesome. But of course, we don't want one of them. We need two of them. Ta-da! Oh, if only if it was that simple. Right, so we have got 2 screws, but there is also a lot of question marks. Are they going to be strong enough? Are the axles just going to twist to pieces? Is this pitch too aggressive? Is this spiral bit, is it too high? I have no idea. So, the next video, we need like a chassis to bond the two together, and then we need to start working on the drive. We've got a hydraulic pump, an engine, a seat. Oh, it's going to be so cool. Some levers. There is so much more to do. Now, of course, let's not forget the sponsor, World of Tanks. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. This is a very expensive project. So, go and check them out. There's 100 million people playing this game. There's something there whether you're a pro or a novice. You don't have to pump loads of money in it to win. It's free to win, so they say. So, use the link in the description. Use your promo code. Support them. Support the channel. And of course, subscribe. You don't want to miss the next video. We need a chassis and stuff. We need all sorts of things. We need to get a screw tank in. See you in the next one. Welcome back to the ColinFurze screw tank project. Yes, World of Tanks challenged me to make a tank. So I'm building a screw tank. But they're good with that. They don't mind it. There's like Furze. I know we have got loads of historically accurate tanks in our game, but we also like to have fun. So in the game, there's different modes. There's football, there's battle royale, you name it. They're all good. It's just all about having a laugh. Now, there's a link in the description. You can download tanks for free. Go and support them. They're supporting the project. And the project, well, we've got our 2 screws. Now, we need a chassis. We need a drive system. There's a lot to do. I better get some stuff in, ain't I? We need an engine. Look at this booty.
I don't think I can be a stranger to you. I don't think we can ever move on, do you? I don't think I can be so distant from you now. But then again, I thought that you'd respect me. I thought that you would be loyal, but you cheat.
Can't beat a Honda. All of my best creations have been powered by Hondas. Mobility scooter, Dodge 'em. Right, that's going to go around this way. Right, that's going to sit somewhere at the back. Put you in here. I'll be up high, obviously. I'm not going to be sat down here. Yeah, so I'll have my seat up against the back of that. Feet at the front, and then I'll get the levers each side of me. Right, next thing we need to do, we need to work out how we're going to get the drive chains from these down onto the shafts. Aye, Captain! I'll be getting them in the morning, I tell ya!
Don't we all trust scientists that tell us it's oxygen we need to breathe? Put faith in the doctors, sharing more shit than the dealers. They try so hard to keep.
Okie dokie, so I've cut this out. What this is going to do, this flat bit is going to bolt up underneath our tank chassis, and then the axle to the screw is going to go through this bit. Now, I've hit Simply bearings pretty hard, got loads of bearings and loads of plate wheels. Got some sprockets. Now, this motor, we're going to go through this one, and then the sprockets are all taper lock ones, so they've got like a little collar inside them, which basically locks onto the shaft, and then if we want to change any of the sprockets, change the gear ratio, you just undo some grub screws and swap it all over. So we need to be able to get to this, so we're effectively going to put some sides on this and then make like an access panel, one in the front, one in the top to get to the attentioner. And there we are. That's the rear one. The front one will be exactly the same, apart from it won't have a motor in it. Just effectively making our own funny shaped bit of box section. Right, let's get you all welded up. And then we can make a chassis, Colin!
Spend a lifetime competing. Every other man who needs feeding. For everything from guns and drugs to land and love to gain and trust to feel and love before the devil comes and takes you away. Do I look stupid to you? 'Cause we all look stupid to me. No one knows what to believe or tell me.
Now, put these little tags on here So it kind of holds the plate just over the surface. So when I weld around the front here, I've got like a gap to fill rather than a smooth joint. Because that will be a lot stronger, won't it, Colin? Oh, beautiful.
Knows what to believe. I know you are the stupid to you, cause we are the stupid to me. And no one knows what to believe or tell me. Who do we turn to now? With no God, no heaven, no hell, oh tell me.
Okay, lovely jubbly, that's done. Now there's going to be a cover plate which bolts onto the front here. That'll have another bearing in which will slide over that axle and that will keep it nice and rigid. We've got the chain tensioner, of course, which will be like another sprocket wheel on a bearing which will push up on that little slider. And there's a little access hatch in the top so we can get down and tighten that up. So, that's the rear one. That's got all the drive connected. The front is basically the same, but because it doesn't need all this in it, it doesn't have to be quite so fat. So, I've done that one here, look. Just got two bearings. Woohoo! Right, so we've got them now. We just need a chassis. Then we've got to fix it to it. Got them on. Don't want to put the front ones on until I've got the screws in position, but I'm waiting for some bar stuff to come in. So in the meantime, I think I'm going to try and get the engine mount and the seat mounted in position so you can kind of see where all that's going. I really hope this thing does work. How cool is this gonna look? Can't sit on there, can I? Ah! I'm just contemplating whether the engine and the seat can come forward a bit. I don't know. Let's do that. Right, so I've got my bar stock, that's arrived. However, the bushes have destroyed themselves in my lathe. But Bailey, the people who supplied me this, said, Colin, don't worry about the new bushes. We'll get you an upgraded lathe, which is fantastic of them. But I want to use my lathe now. So I've bodged a drill into the back of it. It sounds awful. But at least I can get on. Dude. the holes actually still line up. Okay, we're all welded up. Now I've rigged it up to the hydraulic system I've got under the bench, the things which runs my press, so we can see it turning. Now the hydraulic pump under the bench has got nowhere near the flow rate that our engine's going to give, hence why it's so slow. At least that's what I'm hoping anyway. Right, I'm happy with you. Chain tension system works well, spins nicely, seems pretty solid. Now I've got to sort the other side out. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, we got screws, we got a chassis, it's pretty solid. We're probably going to have to add more chassis to this, but I learnt with the hover bike, just patience, because I built the hover bike, it had loads of bits of chassis on it, and it wouldn't get off the ground. I don't know if this thing's going to be too heavy, so we'll give it a test first, and then we'll give it a bit of woohoo! I've legged it up to the motor, we can go sideways, we can go that way, and if I stand up on here, this is good, this is a good sign. Look, if I can do this, stop this one moving, it starts to turn. That I was worried about. Carpet don't like it though. Got my own screw tank, boy. It's part 3 of the ColinFurze World of Tanks screw tank project. Yes, right, what we're going to do now, we've got to plumb it all up. We've got the hydraulics to sort. We've got valves to install. We've got to get it ready for test. Now, of course, don't forget, this project is sponsored by World of Tanks. You can customise your own tank in their game. They're very accurate. They're very representative of real-life tanks. And don't forget to use your code, TANKTASTIC, to get free stuff. Now, I think we need an oil tank. It's all blooming tanks, isn't it? Tanks, 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 tanks. Right, oil tank, Colin. Oil tank. I think this tank's a little bit too big for what we want. Come on. Okay, this tank is way too big, but there are things on it which I do like. You can take the lid off it, so if you want to clean it out, have a look inside. You can do that. It's got a strainer on the return, so that obviously filters the oil when it comes back. And also it's got a proper filler cap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my own tank, which kind of sits above the pump. And also I'm going to spin the pump, because at the moment the inlets and the outlets come out the side. I want to make it so they go in the top and come out the bottom. So the oil can drop straight in the top, come out the bottom, and then go round to each valve. And there's not all pipes crossing over. And that is a lovely idea. Very neat, yes. I didn't realise all that were in there. Yeah, I think it too. It looks rubbish, I know that, but it is simple, and if there is any problems, I can get to everything, I can see what the problems will be, so for the time being, that is good, and then if everything works alright, I shall make a more exotic shaped one that blends into the tank afterwards. Right, so, We need a lid, which has got all the bits sticking out of it. Now we need this, which is like a filter, so when the oil comes back from the motor and goes back in the tank, it goes through this filter. Now I've only got one of these, and I've got 2 circuits, and I said just tee them together, but I thought, might as well get 2 of these, I can have one each side. So I'll put that in there, the pipe will come out and drop down, and then of course we need the filler, which is like a little, bit like the top of a petrol can. That'll go slap in the middle and do that. So, when I've measured all that and cut up, it will look like this! Yep, so we'll fit that, we'll stick a rubber seal on it. That'll sit in there. These bits will go in here, and when the other one comes, it'll go in that side, and then the thing that's in it. Very nice. Right, next thing we need to do before we get too into the actual plumbing is we need to mount the valves up near my seat. Right, so I'm going to be sat here. Obviously, the levers are going to want to be either side of me, but I've got the pipes to consider because we've got 4 pipes to come into this. We've got the pressure, and then we've got the return back to the tank, and then we've got the 2 coming off it to go to the motors. So there's going to be a little bit of giggly baggly googly here, so they don't want to be too close to me, or else I'm going to have pipes hitting my legs. So they'll be a little bit further out like that, and then I'll work out where that's going to go, make some little brackets for them. Also, at the moment, all the pipes come off the top. I don't want that, so I'm going to take this barrel out. Apparently you can flip it so they're like that, and the lever comes up there, so all the pipes come out the bottom. Much neater, Colin. Ah, it's quite comfy this, as you know. World of tanks! We're in the desert! Anyway, Colin, you've got work to do. What would you do if you didn't? Well, you wouldn't, would you? Oh, yes. We've got a seat, we've got our valve set up a bit. Oh, he's back again. I thought we'd done away with this in video 2. Use your promo code. Tanktastic. For free stuff in the game. There you are. Right, hydraulics. I'm going to start at the back and work my way forward. Where's he gone? Come on, where are you, trumpet Furze? Not even a trumpet, it's a trombone.
Red wine, so blissful in the winter. I knew I couldn't talk about the creature in the mirror. I never felt so far away from waking up and sleeping, and I just can't define the misty clouds that I'm receiving. Why am I confused? What spell am I under? I need another bottle. How long is the tunnel? The reason why I take my time is to find a certain thought in my mind. Jokes aside, I don't understand why I'm unable to laugh or smile or even cry. Shaking heads, drinking wine. No one here, no one there. Who cares? Not even myself. I just want a world of flowers in my garden without the sun shining. How do I even get started? How do I even get past the sea?
You made it! You made it!
Worlds will bloom upon the moon. Another show. Open mind, shadows in the clouds all left behind. The sun will used to shine. Worlds will bloom upon the moon. I'm shining. How do I even get started? How do I even get past the sea? The mirror talking to me way beneath the surface of the sun. Worlds will bloom upon the moon, another shroom. Open mind, shadow.
Right, it's all plumbed up. It's full of oil. Is this thing going to work? Running. Oh. Oh, we got a. Oh my God, we got a massive leak. Where's all that gone then? The carpet's ruined. It can't leak that badly, surely. Well, it is. It's pouring out. Give it a rest. It leaks. Don't think I welded something up quite completely then. Anyway, filled it in. Let's have another crack. I'm so excited about this. Right, I think this is actually going to work. We've got good control. Everything seems to function well. The hydraulics are working. Nothing's leaking anymore. I'm happy. So in the next video, we're going to take it out into the field, take it off-road. Is it going to work as a screw tank? Now, don't forget the sponsor, World of Tanks. They've made all this possible. They've supported me. Go and support them. The link's in the description. You've got hundreds of tanks. Millions of people are playing this game. Use your code. Get your free stuff. Check it out. Right then. ColinFurze. Let's pull it to bits. Get it in the back of the van. See you in the next video. Subscribe. Now, where I live in Stamford, we very rarely get any snow, and when we do get any snow, we're not really used to it. Our vehicles aren't used to it. We can barely get off the drive. But last year, I made a homemade screw tank, and screw tanks were basically designed for the Siberian marshes and wastelands which are thick with snow and ice. So, can my homemade screw tank cope with all this? Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. Now, by Siberian standards, this isn't really that deep. So, I think we're going to get Tom Lamb to make us a bit of a pile. Right, big pile of snow, check. Will it go through frozen ponds and in and out frozen ponds with loads of snow around them? Now I've took all the armour plating off it because that kind of, well, it made it heavy basically. And some of the last tests and final tests we do this, we could tell it was really struggling. So if we're going to be gliding across snow in and out of ponds, it needs to be as light as possible. So we're back down to like, it's nearly Mark 1 thing, but it's still got the boat bit underneath it so it can float. You might see a pile of logs, but I definitely see a challenge here. Myself in the big swamp. It's a long way round, so we're just going to lower me in. This is actually the fastest way to get the screw tank anywhere. It's a nice, versatile piece of kit, but it ain't very fast. So, too thick and the screws wouldn't chimble it up while they were in the deep water. But this is too much fun. There's some more water and bogs over here. Yeah? Slight problem, come out of the water and the lever's snapped off. How are we going to get this out then? Wow. Rescue mission if ever I see one. You are a beast. I love this vehicle. I wish you went a hell of a lot faster, but you are awesome. Thank you very much, people. Subscribe to the ColinFurze channel. This is what we do. This is what we do. Yes, this is what we do. Now, I have made jet karts, hover bikes, drift trikes, 100-mile-an-hour dodgems, pulse jet powered bicycles, but I have never made a tank. So, is this Archimedes thread screw tank hydraulic thingy gonna work? Let's find out. Right. This video is sponsored by World of Tanks. Click on the link in the description. Now let's go mud bogging. Okay, let's see if we can crawl up some hills. Okay, I'm really pleased with this. Now, if you want to see how I made this, there's 3 other videos on my YouTube channel, linked in the description and at the end of the video. Now, thanks to World of Tanks for sponsoring this, because they've made all this possible. Now, of course, if you haven't seen it, the hydraulics on it are actually pretty simple. Basically, the engine pumps the oil out of the tank, down these lines, up to these directional valves, so forwards or backwards, out to the motors. There's one on each side, bosh. And it works a treat. As you can see, it steers, it turns, it goes backwards. Now, when it goes backwards, it does churn the mud up a little bit because it hasn't got these little coney bits on the front, but it does still work. Doesn't go too fast, but we can work on that. Now then, we have weighed it. It weighs 380 kilos, and we get about 400 kilos of buoyancy out of these tubes. So, the math says that when an 80 kilo Colin sits in it, it's not going to float. But let's give it a go anyway. I've got it stuck. They washed me wellies in the sea. It's all right though. I've got my official ColinFurze safety tie on. Yes! Oh, I see the problem there. It still works! Of course it does! Yeah, we're up again! It's alive! screw tank or the Hilux?
Respect. If you're not nice, don't show respect. There is one thing I say to you. See you next Tuesday.
Oh, what a mess! What a mess! Well, I'm well pleased with this. We've been running it all day and it's ran faultless. The oil temp's been good, the plates haven't bent, it's not broke. I'm a pleased man. I've never made a screw tank before, so this is really good. So, its strengths. Bogs, sloppy ground, it glides straight across the top. Steep hills, loves them. Loose ground, loves that. In fact, there's pretty much all terrains. It just goes across everything. Now, there are some things we can improve. It could do with going a little bit faster, and as of yet, we've just proved it doesn't flow. So, phase 2, we're going to sort that out. And of course, it's not a tank if it hasn't got a weapon. So what weapon we're going to put on? Well, put your suggestions in the comments. Now, of course, our sponsor, World of Tanks, thank you very much. There's a promo code and a link in the description if you want to go and show them some support. And there we are, the first screw tank. I'm a happy man. See you in the next one. Subscribe, notifications on, all that stuff. So, improve the centre of gravity, move the seat forward, move the levers forward, turn the engine round and put the oil tank behind the seat. Basically, what we need to do now to make this float is make this bottom bit into a boat. So we need to give it like a base and a kind of a keel or a hull or whatever it's called. And to do that, we've got the bead roller, bolted it to the floor. I've made a flat bead for the bottom here, and then we're going to use that as like a bender, as a guide to bend the sheet to go under there. We've had a little test. It seems to work. It's all good. Inside, separating me from you. Yeah, I'm trapped inside. Watch the sun turn from black to blue. Yeah, I'm trapped inside, separating me from you. Black to blue, black to blue. You talk like I move too fast. Don't need that gas. It's just a lie. 'Cause why would I change for you? Right, that's kind of made like a top chassis, which our little tub's going to come up and weld to. But before we get too far, I'm going to make the bit that goes on the top. So I'm going to put the engine back in, kind of make that, and then make that like a separate piece that comes off, and then do some stuff. Talk like I move too fast, don't need that gas, it's just a life. 'Cause why would I change for you? She told me switch it up, yeah. So simple, but nothing there. She told me switch it up, yeah. So simple, but nothing there. Yeah, I'm trapped inside. Watch the sun turn from black to blue. Yeah, I'm trapped inside, separating me from you. Looking a bit more tank-like now, I'd say. Rightio, that's this top bit done. Now, it's a separate piece. I did put some mesh on it, but I don't even like it. So I'm going to get the boat bit done, the bottom of this tanking all sorted, and then we'll look at it after that, because I think it looks a bit sparse at the moment. Can't make a proper judgment on it. Right, let's get all that welded up and made, sew it on, then we'll probably take it to the river and give it a float test as well. She takes
soul. She's nervous and don't like her face, wasting her days, like the parents say. 17 passes to 21, feels it coming, oh, she feels it coming up. Like a bullet, she feels the love. If they won't let her have it, she gon' make it be a
Come on, use your strength, use your power. Come on, you keep saying you're going to destroy me and you've got power.
Oh, why don't they teach you and I preach you the road?
Okay, welding's done, seats back in, engine's fitted in, bolt the screws back on, dunk it in the river, see if it leaks, see if it floats, and then whatever happens from there, we'll just have to deal with it, won't we, Colin? Yes, we will. We will have to deal with it. We'll have to drag it out the bottom. We might never see it again. Rear heavy as hell. Still, yeah, we've got a bit of water going in the drums. I can see the bubbles coming out the top. Well, it does float, it's just the weight distribution is still a little bit rearward and we've got a few leaks. So, we've filled the tub up with water so we can see where the little pinholes are. We've welded them up, we've also given it a lick of paint. The screws, they got quite a bit of water in them, so we've gone around all the seams now, all the bolts, sealed them all up. So hopefully, it's going to be a bit better. We've also added a little flotation buoyancy adaptation to the back just to try and lift it up a little bit and try and get it a little bit more level. I think we're onto a winner here. We're sitting a lot more level. It's not filling up with water. We've not got bubbles coming out of anything. I'd say that is a win, people. Right. Hydraulics got to go back in there. Make it work. Oh yeah, she's finished. Got a paint job, looks a bit more tank-like. Hydraulics in, new oil tank, fantastic, fits in there a treat. But is it going to float? Is it going to propel itself in the water? Is it going to be the ultimate all-terrain vehicle? World of Tanks have got all sorts of trains in their game, so this has got to be able to do the same thing. Let's have a go. We've got a bog, let's hit it. Okay, it's passed the swamp test, but it's not actually floating because it's sitting in the mud, so we need to take it to some deeper water. Let's get out of here first, eh? Oh, you can't fault this machine. It is fantastic. Okay, we're nearly there. In terms of its off-road capabilities and driving and stuff, I'm happy with it. It's exactly where I'd want it to be. But Colin, you've not finished, have you? It's not got a weapon on it. No, we need to mount something on it. We've got to be able to fire some stuff. Now, you've requested flamethrowers and potato gun seems to be the top answer. So I think we're going to go with one of them. Probably a potato gun, but I don't want it to just be a normal potato gun. No, I want it to be a Furze potato gun, which hopefully will be better than a normal potato gun. Yes! Now then, don't forget the sponsor. Use your promo code, fantastic, get all your free stuff. Go and check the game out. It's very historical. They've got hundreds of, I think there's 500 tanks they've got it, you know. Can't even talk. There's like 500 tanks in the game. It's like, it's a massive game. So, but you know, support them. They're supporting the channel. They're making this possible. And I'll see you in the next video, people. Yeah! This is my drive. This is my secret underground tunnel system, which I've been digging by hand over the past 3 years. And this is my DeLorean. Now, wouldn't it be the most rock and roll thing ever if I could get out of bed, go downstairs, go into the underground tunnel system, along the tunnel, and then into a garage to find the DeLorean, and at the push of a button, ooh, the DeLorean comes up, out the drive. Oh yes, that is the thing of dreams. We are gonna do that. Right, we are back tunnelling again, which means we've got to get prepared. We've got to put the winch back up, the thing that hangs off the shed ceiling. We've got to tear the carpet up. We've got to move some boards so they don't get damaged, then cover the floor. Lower the hydraulics back down, and last of all, take away the metal cover plate that sealed it up to reveal the rock face. Here we go again! Hold on there, Colin. You need to fill the viewers in on the plan. Okay, people, this is the plan. I've got this wonderful model. I'm sorry it's not to scale. So, we've got my house. We've got my secret tunnel, which comes out along the side of my house. And then we've got my garage off to the left of it. Your plan is you walk down the tunnel, come into what will be a huge room where the DeLorean sits. The DeLorean will go up and come out in front of the lounge window. Not in front of the door and not over here. We can't do it over here because I think the services come into the house up here, so we can't go up and through them, so it's all got to happen over here. Now there's various other issues going to be happening over here, but we'll cross them in later videos. But today we basically need to get this first part dug out so we can get everything lined up with the house. Not with the garage. The garage is slightly at a tangent, and the path as well, the neighbours' boundaries, everything. This is not a perfect square, but we need to make sure that our square room sits in the right position so we don't end up under the path, under the neighbour's house, under my house, or somewhere else completely different. So that is the first task. To build this corner of the room, get it all structural, concreted up, ready to go, and then move slow in increments as we go until we get to the old car lift mechanism. But wait, we need to be stealth. This is a secret garage, isn't it, Colin? So, we're going to do this first bit by hand, but of course we're going to end up with a massive hole in my front garden that everyone can see. So I'm thinking we need a vanity shield. So we're going to get a massive metal steel plate which can sit over the drive that we can dig underneath and prop up as we go along, but it needs to be able to take the weight of the van on top. Don't have a model van. So we can fill that full of the rubble, drive it in and out, in and out. No one will know the difference, and we're scurrying along underneath. So then, let's build a giant metal plate. Hello, hello. Right, it's got that finished. Now I've driven the van over it. It deflects very little, which is a good sign if we're going to be working under it. But I've been thinking, how much does it actually weigh? 1.3 tonne. Don't want that on your head, do you? Okay, that's all good. Now let's get it to the house on the drive. Now I know what you're thinking, Colin. This is supposed to be a secret project and stealth, but turning up with a big tractor and lowering a big metal thing on the drive, well, everyone's going to see that. Don't worry, I have a solution. An additional wooden cover plate was constructed because our initial hole will not be under the metal plate. Looks pretty normal. I don't think anyone's going to look at that and think anything odd's going on. Right, check this out. With the hydraulic pump fired up, it's trying to get the pin in, break some rocks, fill some buckets up and lift them out. The one we were waiting for on camera. Now, getting so carried away getting back in mid digging, I started talking, not realising I'm basically in utter darkness to you guys. Okay, we've got some proper lighting down here. Now, what I was trying to say was, oh, it feels good to be back on this project. But we've been away from this for nearly a year. We forgot silly things. We come down, we brought all the buckets, but we forgot the blooming Muppet shovel.
This is a Muppet shovel.
Now, I'm starting to get back into it now, starting to get a feel for it. Now, of course, I'm going this way, but I'm going to have to start going up very shortly. And going up is kind of weird because obviously normally when you tunnel in, we go forward a little bit and then I'll build a metal frame above me so when I go forward even more, nothing can fall on me. But of course, I need to start going up pretty much straight away. And I've got a little T-bar somewhere which I put on the end of the adaptation, so when I push it up it doesn't poke through and get stuck. Because also, just above me, we've got the gas main, we've got the electric, and we've got the water coming into the house. So I can't go using the pin, because I might pierce one of them, and of course that's not good. So if we kind of push it, knead it, it kind of squeezes it out of the way, which is a lot safer. Right, I'm just going to clear a little bit more out of this, so I've got a bit more room to work in. And then we'll start going north. Oh! I'm out of breath. I've only been doing it a little while. Need to get back in shape first. Right, come on. With the hydraulic pin at full reach and me finding it harder to dodge rocks falling from above, I decided to lift up a bit of drive, dig down and meet in the middle somewhere.
Still no fortune, still got no fame. No politics shit, we're not a recognized name. No organization, no operation, no nation, no civil.
So I thought when I did the drive that the gas main was just underneath the block work, but here we are, a whole shovel's depth down and we've not found anything. Oh, there it is. I was right, it's just underneath the block paving. With the gas main found, it's just the water and the electric to go. What we found now, look, Rick, go on, get it out, boy. Is this a 1970 or 1967 milk bottle?
It is a 70s milk bottle, I think.
Yeah, 1963 this house was built. Right, I'm going to go and wash it. Now, rather ironically, it's got safety first engraved across the top of it, and then milk association. Now, if anyone can shed any light on these, that'd be very nice. We know that they used to do smaller versions of this for schools, but not bigger ones. So, who would have had this, and why is there one in my drive? What's that? I've only gone and found another milk bottle. Look. There's some funny milkmen in Stamford back in the 60s. I think I found the water main. potentially the electric. I'll possibly bust the soakaway. Look at that, look. I reckon that's the electric actually, Rick.
Oh dear.
That's too thin for a water main.
Right.
That's it, Colin. You just feel it with your bare finger. If you've nicked it with a spade, you're going to find out, boy. Full house. Gas main, cold main, electric, soakaway. Okay, we know where all the services are now, so we're going to drill a hole through, see where it comes out here, if it even does. Right, go on then, Rick, drill it! Somewhere around here. Oh, it's going to come in. Here we go. Whee! Excellent. Good.
So, knowing we were getting close to our hole, I made an extension for the ramp at the T-bar end and tried to push up to the surface.
Coming down!
So, to make a good progress, we decided we'd leave it and break through in the morning. However...
It's dug itself overnight. So we've come down this morning and gravity has done a bit of work for us, which is a little bit of a shame because I kind of wanted my money shot of me pushing my foot through and coming through like we did when we come up in the kitchen. But never mind, it's all progress. All we need to do now is get rid of like this ceiling of mud, because this is obviously a bit precarious now. Get rid of all that, get that down, and then we can start moving forward. The sewer has landed on me. Don't think that was doing much soaking away, was it? Rubbish. Here we go. This is by far the most dangerous bit we have done in the whole thing. Till we get a decent hole out here that I can stand on a step ladder or something and be completely to the side of it, this is sketchy.
Now, as well as dodging falling rocks, this bit was really difficult. I'm still working in a tiny space. The rocks and clay are wet and sticky, which is getting everything covered in mud, but it's okay. This won't last for long. I've covered the wooden boards with polythene and also some astroturf for that garden ambiance. So hopefully it'll all improve soon.
I'm not sure if this looks more weirder than the bit of wood.
So with our weather protecting golf course installed, let's get back to digging.
Oh yeah. I found the garage foundation now, Rick. Right, we're getting somewhere now. Garage foundations are exposed. Corner of the garage, bottom of the garage, corner of the house, bottom of the house. Of course, we've got the soakaway which is disconnected. We've got the water main here. Got the electric into the house. And then, of course, up here, we've got the gas main. We're slowly getting more and more room. It's kind of funky that you can get a shot now where you can see the passageway and the tunnel all in one bit. We've just got to work away getting this ledge over so we've got no overhangs, and then we can start going back in a nice, neat, uniform way. But look at that, that's exciting, that is. I mean, it would scare the hell out of most people to be able to see your house foundations and your garage foundations from underneath, but it's the sort of thing I've grown used to now. Right, let's dig a bit more out, put some stuff in some buckets. Now we are.
So, having found both the house and the garage foundations and located all of the services, we felt we could finally be unleashed and go out digging as fast and as hard as we could. However, digging up to the surface is a lot different to digging a tunnel. The lower rock seams were no different. You'd get giant rocks which you couldn't fit in a bucket, which you'd have to smash with a sledgehammer and take away in pieces. The mid-range seam is absolutely fine as well. It crumbles, it falls down, it falls into buckets, brilliant. The problems start when you get higher up into the clay. This stuff is sticky, it is heavy, the tools are constantly getting stuck in it, and despite our best efforts, the tunnel is getting in an absolute mess. But mess is mess, and that's tunnelling. We can deal with that. But the main issue is the overhangs. The clay just doesn't fall down like the loose rock. You have to physically get up the ladder and pull it down manually. We've tried to make taller pieces of equipment to kind of push it and help it a bit more, but that's got its own issues. Having to lift the huge hydraulic ram up onto higher and higher pieces is just getting more and more strenuous. This part of this project is physically a lot more demanding.
We have shifted some stuff. We have shifted some stuff.
But how much stuff, I thought? So, we've got some digital scales and we weighed each bucket as we took it out. Weighed all 14 of them and this is the results.
Right, I've totaled them all up. 667.4 kilograms. Now, if you divide that by 14, gives us an average of 47.6 kilograms per tub.
So how's our progress been? Well, of all the time we've spent on this, we have spent 8 days digging. We have done a total of 28 trips, and at 650 kilos, let's say, per trips, that puts us around about 18 tons of earth shifted. Now, this is probably going to get slower because obviously physical fatigue will sit in. So let's have a review. How long is this going to take us to dig?
So this is 8 days worth of digging, but if we look at it from above, it's this little square here, give or take a little bit. Now, to get to the path for this first section of garage, it's going to take another 9 sets of 8 days, about 72 days. If we're generous, we could say 3 months. That is too long. But this hasn't been a complete physical waste of time. We have revealed the services, we can see the orientation of the house and everything and where it all sits. We know what we're doing now. That is a good thing. So, with the fact in mind that you couldn't use a digger with the tunnel and that you can use a digger here, and the fact that stuff is falling on my head nearly all the time, we've got the block paving bricks, we've got the hard clay to work with, I think it's time for Tom. But also, I've shifted 18 tons of stuff with my bare hands in 8 days. I'm pretty pleased with that.
So to prepare for the digger, we need to move over the steel drive cover, knock my camera over, ha, Rick's face, then make a second wooden drive cover, and then after this carefully remove all the block paving bricks for potential reuse in the future. And then after all this is done, it reveals the absolutely excellent epic shot of a massive hole in front of my house where you can see the tunnel.
Right, here we go. We're about to see like a whole 14 buckets progress. Took out in one big scoop. Now I know you lot all ask me where do I tip this, and Tom gets rid of it, and to this very day I don't really know where it goes. He doesn't tell me. I think he's selling it. Textbook thing he would do, he would sell it and then not tell me. It's me! The old tape measure out in the hole. Probably got another 200 mil that way. There's me trying to do this in silence, right? What do you reckon, Freddie? Look at all that! You're going to have to come and help us again.
Hey, Lamby, what's the f***ing pipe, will ya?
It's always exciting when Freddie's here. moan about my safety, not wearing helmets. This old boy's got flip-flops on! Flip-flops! Sliders, whatever you want to call them! That's madness! That is madness! Okay, we're nearly halfway. And it sort of is halfway through the day, but the next bit should be a lot easier. We're down to the depth now, so we don't have to keep whacking the bottom plate of stone to try and get through it. We've done that, so hopefully it's just lifting the layers up. I'm going to put a bit of wood across here in a minute to suspend, to keep the gas pipe and the electric pipe a bit more supported, because obviously they're kind of drooping a bit now. That's not good, we don't want to see that. And there we are, it's a big old hole. We're filling the buckets up. Progress is good. Absolute nutgate! Look at that, look, we're nearly at the path. Just this last little bit to come out now. This hole looks absolutely huge. Now we put the lid on it, it's like it's just got bigger. But this is only a quarter of it. We've got to go that direction, probably another 3 times of what we've just done now. How epic is this gonna be? It's like a cathedral in my front garden. My dream internet is to dig a secret underground garage at the front of my house, and at the push of a button, my DeLorean rises up out of the ground and I drive off. It's going to be connected to my secret underground tunnel system, which I've already dug. We've dug a massive hole in front of that, and in this video, we're going to start fabricating the roof. Way up internet and secret garage lovers, welcome to part 2. So, I've got a massive hole in my front garden, but before I go any further, nearly 7 million people watched the first episode and you're not all subscribed. So come on, give it a click, do the right thing. I'm destroying my front garden for you guys. Right, so we've got a big hole. We now need to start constructing a steel room within that hole. But of course, digging a hole makes a lot of mess. There is mud and stuff everywhere. We need to get that tidy up. That is our first job. And then at the end of the video, we've got a brand new bundle box and a 2023 ColinFurze Christmas jumper. Right, come on, get the brush and dustpan out. I've got to clean this thing up.
I just passed up a job in the city, sitting so pretty on my big white jet. Could have been the man your dad wanted in a pinstripe suit, but took my bags and left.
So with everything nice and tidy, it's time to get a reference of parallel off the house. So to do this, we get a nice long straight bar, space it off the wall, then use other lengths of bar to drop down into the hole, clamp them to the top bar, get them all nice and level, fix another piece of metal between these down inside the hole. We then use this as a reference to measure from. 67, 67, it's bloody spot on. The tunnel is absolutely bang on 90 degrees to the house. We have come down here in a complete straight line. Like millimetre perfect straight line. So now we've got a reference, it's time to remove the steel that held back the last concrete pour for the tunnel, tidy all the edges up, measure the room and see if there's any rocks in places we don't want them.
The man your dad wanted in a pinstripe suit, but took my bags and left. I just passed up a job in the city.
That's a shot, isn't it? Right, overhangs are all gone, room straight, walls are straight. Let's get some steel down, let's get a floor in. First thing we do is lay a frame down level for all the plates to sit on. This is great because it gives us something level to work on. We are also bolting the frame to the floor so when it gets filled under with concrete, it doesn't try and float. And then we add mesh to hold the concrete back. Now, before we go and put any plate walls up, we've got something to consider. Where I am standing here now is where the soakaway used to be for the house and the drive. And of course, there is going to be a drive still above me. It's going to rain, it's going to get water on it. That needs to go somewhere. So, the cracks in the rock, they pretty much go on for the whole entire rock seam. You can stick a hose pipe down them, run it, it does not fill up. So, what we've done, we've cleaned one of them out. We've stuck a bit of drain pipe down into the crack, put it up against the wall, and we will connect onto that at a later date. Right, with that sorted, what's it time for now, Colin? Time for some floor sheets.
You'll be stuck in a trance all your life. Throw away your past and come with me. I buy soul for a little fee. We'll say we'll go with the Holy Ghost. I know that we agree.
Okay, we've got a wonderful floor. It feels so much better not to be walking around on the stone. But our next job, we need some big steel beams coming down the wall here because they're going to be the supports for bigger steel beams which are going to go across the roof. We're going to put them in first because they're going to go behind the walls and weld up to the back of the walls. We're going to have one there, and then the same mirrored on the other side. Now, to get these down into our underground garage, I developed a lovely system of strap and lower. Basically, we attach a strap to the end of the beam and then lower it down, and with a little bit of heebing and jeebing, we can lower it down quite safely. Not bad, I even think I might be able to manage this on my own. Yeah. I then welded some flat plates onto the end of the beams to spread the load from when they've got all the weight of everything above them bearing down onto the rock. They'll be bedded in concrete, of course, but it's still good practice. So, with the beams up, we are ready for some more wall sheets. But at 4mm thick, you're not going to be lowering them down by yourself. So with next door out at the garden centre, I parked the JCB on the drive and carefully lowered the sheets down, minding the services into the house. And as tricky as an operation this was, our biggest problem was yet to come this evening. With the most rainfall we'd have all year, the local area was getting absolutely flooded, including outside my front door where I was getting a little tiny swimming pool. And of course, all that had to be going somewhere. With a constant stream of water dripping in, it was time to lay out the buckets and hope for the best.
Well, it's not too bad. We've had a lot of loose stuff come off the walls, obviously, but obviously having water cascading into place is not a good thing to have in the back of your mind while you're trying to get to sleep. This is the perfect link for the sponsor.
With the rain all mopped up and wiped down, it's time to start building this end wall to give ourselves a reference point to build all the other walls. Getting this wall right is absolutely critical. Our measurements from the line of the house needed to be checked regularly, as getting this wrong will mean the whole thing will be out of line. And then once that's set, it's weld, 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 weld. With even more rain expected, we put an additional tarp down, which seems to have done the trick. We've got a nice swimming pool outside my front door, but at least it's not come cascading into the garage.
Okay, that wall's all fixed and welded. Excellent. Next up, we need to do this wall. Now, it needs to be dead 90 degrees to that one, obviously, or all our measurements are a waste of time. Now, the easiest way to find out if something's wonky or not is to measure the diagonal. So, I've been on the computer, drawn it. I can see now what this measurement should be, so I've laid my tape measure across. I've put a bit of 50mm box section along the wall here. I've got it in the right place. Now I'm going to get a load of little tabs, weld them to the floor, so when we get the sheets, we can push them up against the tabs, push them up, weld them all together, put all the uprights up, bang, we've got a wall at 90 degrees to that one.
Now with Rick taking an early Christmas holiday over at the Donkey Sanctuary, it's over to me to do it by myself. Welded to the back of each wall sheet is what I call a concrete plate. which is a nice thin flat plate full of holes in it, so when the concrete comes down and swells around the steel, it goes through these holes and properly stitches the flat sheets of steel to the concrete wall block behind it. I will place at least one of these on each of the sheets, and they will always be behind the upright beams for strength, but also so you can't see the weld scorches coming through on the sheets and adding blemishes, because we can't have that, can we? Once the wall sheets and uprights are tacked in place, you add a horizontal length of box section across the top, checking for level and checking for straightness. You can see there is a little bit of warping in the sheet, but with a simple tool you can pull this back to shape, weld it together, and bang, your wall is straight. We've got a wall! Yep, that's all sorted, that's all tacked up. Next job, we've got to get 2 RSJs and put down this side, same as we did over there. They've got to be parallel with those ones because of course there's going to be 2 big beams go across the top of them and they want to run in a nice straight line. Without a tunnel to brace off this side, I found myself knocking pegs and pins into the clay and stitch welding it to the frame at the bottom. This is all good, it just will add reinforcement to the concrete when it goes in.
Of Jaeger bombs, choo-choo, get on the train. The party's on again.
Right, that's got a wall up. All good. All we need to do now is completely weld this. Now, I'm not going to do all of that just yet because I want to sort these roof beams out and I need to raise the steel up a tiny bit higher.
Which means we're going to need this.
Roof bends. Best machine I've got for this is the Swag Off-Road Bender. I've clamped it down to the Siegmann mini fabricating table. This is really good because this thing's heavy, the wheels lock off on it, and it's a nice height so your arms don't ache. There is definitely some jobs you can struggle on your own, but this is one I definitely can't. So I've drafted in the person which you all go on about in the comments as the person you can't believe let me do this to the house.
With the measurements checked, the ends marked and cut down to size, it's down a little tiny hole and stacked up onto the roof. And then I forgot, I wasn't working with Rick.
Colin! Feeling the pressure.
I'm not even lifting it. Okay, so while I'm waiting for a lovely delivery from Newark Steel this afternoon, I thought I'll do some welding. So I've welded all the walls up, but this has caused an issue. The floor is biscuit tin in there, and that is very irritating because it's like working in a blooming drum. Now, normally what you do with the floor is at the end, once everything's all tacked together, is you plasma cut some holes out and then you can reach round and then you can weld all the centre of these sheets to that frame which you saw me build a while back. Now, I don't normally do that till the end because you don't want holes everywhere while you're trying to build everything, because obviously you can fall down and drop stuff, just a pain. But biscuit tinning is way more of a pain than a few holes. So I'm going to do all that now and do the floor bit. Yes. Oh. Forgot about that. I thought they went that way. Check this out, look. This looks a bit weird.
So with my head out the floor, I cut some little slots in the back wall so I could get my clamps on to clamp the uprights to finish off the bad boy.
Okay, with the back wall done, now I need to drop another roof arch down and then lower a roof sheet down somehow, pull it back up, sit it on top of the roof arches without them all trying to flip round on themselves, and then tack weld that to the back wall. Not sure I'm going to do this.
Well, a winch strapped onto the telehandler tine sounds like a plan. This is great as it gives us a really easy method of moving the sheets up and down without anyone having to be sat in the telehandler where they can't see anything that's going on. And with the winch pendant being long, you can operate it from inside the hole.
Right, next job, very crucially, got to put these surfaces in some ducts. We've got the water pipe, not worried about that. We've got the gas pipe, which is what the camera's attached to. Not really worried about that. That's a bit of 3/4 steel. That's okay. The main one, of course, is the electric cable. This one looks a bit old and craggly and pretty rubbish. So the sooner we get this covered, more supported, the better. And I'll have a nice little plan.
So I've got some flexible, stiff pipe, and then I'm going to cut it open with a grinder, straight down the middle, and then we can split it open with a bit of wood and hopefully slide it over the cable.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly nervous about this. No, it's out the way. Out you come. Oh, there we go. We're getting there now. There we go. There we go. That's got that ducted, strapped up, supported all the way along the way. Feel a lot more comfortable. I've done that now. The water and the gas I'll sort out once there's a roof, of course, because I'll be able to sit on it and just do that. It's going to be a lot easier then. Right. Cut some more sheets, lower them down, finish the roof off, Colin.
Now, one thing we're going to have to deal with a metal ceiling is condensation. The tunnel is very warm. The warm air comes out the tunnel, hits my metal ceiling and condensates. I don't know what we're going to do about this for the time being. We're just going to have to live with it.
Baby, lately I've been wanting you to call me back, but I heard on the grapevine that you're just bad. So maybe live a little past the keys around your neck. Don't dilate, you'll lose a little self-respect. Oh baby, lately I've been wanting you to see me again. My bed's so cold with all your hands beside me.
So, with the ceiling tacked together, it's now time to fully weld the seams. Until...
Don't know if you can hear that. I've made my first mistake. While I've been welding the ceiling, the cold water pipe, of course in plastic's laying across the top of it. I've melted straight through it. Look. Luckily enough, I used to be a plumber. Right, let's go and switch it off.
So after cutting the pipe too short and laughing my head off, I then finished the floor frame off, welded it up, welded the angle iron that supports the edges of the floor sheet, and I'd say that's room done already. Okay, this room is complete as much as it needs to be for the time being. That is looking absolutely fantastic. It's quite a decent size, as we know. You could fit a car in here already. But there's another job I want to do before we go pouring any concrete round. I want to put the RSJ beams across the top of the roof so they properly brace the outer walls. Because concrete's heavy, and when it starts coming in, I don't want the room sort of like creaking in and warping and the roof going up or whatever. That will strengthen it all up, that will brace it up. So I've took the cover plate off the top. We've got a nice big 600 kilo RSJ to kind of swing in somehow. Now, before we swing the horizontal RSJ in, we've got to cut the vertical ones down so the horizontal one sits level, which is an easy tack with a bandsaw, and at the other end, the plasma cutter.
Didn't have to look too far.
Then with the 600 kilo beast swinging off the telehandler, it's time to delicately thread it underneath the remaining cover and onto our RSJ verticals. This was a little bit tricky.
Could tell that she knew her fixings from her.
Once in position, the RSJ was laid flat, so we have strapped a magnet to one end to pick it up to make it vertical.
And that was good enough for me.
With the beam now vertical, it was down to the job of carefully manoeuvre it onto the vertical uprights ready for welding. Once in place, it looked absolutely fantastic.
We sat down to talk.
Until old Clumsy here went and knocked it off and got it wedged down the side and the magnet stuck at the bottom of the hole. This very much could have been a disaster. Fishing the magnet out was a pain, but luckily enough I remembered I'd plasma cut some holes inside which I could fish it out with. Then it was a case of swinging it back on the telehandler, trying to pick it off. My heart was in my mouth. If this thing drops off, we're never going to get it back. But we did. And I celebrated by stabbing a cone. Right, that's got one of them on. I think that'll do. It's going to get dark, it's peeing it down with rain tomorrow, and this video needs editing. Now, with any project and procedure, the more you do it, the more refined you get, the better at it you get. So I've been up to the farm and I've plasma cut these forky prong things. We can clamp or bolt or weld this to the upright vertical RSJs, and then we can lower the other one straight down into it, so it will locate to where it needs to be, and of course it will stop it from falling over, because that could have been
a lot worse. If we'd have got it wedged down the back there, then we'd have had to try and drag it out. We could have damaged the wall that we've just made, or we could be dragging mud off, the whole thing. It's just not good. Not good. Now, obviously, we've got to get some concrete around it, but there's a few other little jobs which will happen over to the second channel, so obviously stay tuned for that. Mainly, we need a door. It's a garage, so it needs a fire door, but also we need to stop all that hot air coming out the tunnel and condensating on it. And I know it's doing that because the vent from the tunnel out here condensates on my roof out here. So that's exactly what the problem is. So we need to sort that out. And then in terms of the next dig, when we need to dig the next bit, it's very much going to depend on the weather. We've had non-stop rain for about 5 or 6 weeks here. The ground out there is really wet, so when Tom's on there with his digger, that's going to get churned up. Wherever he tips it is going to be wet and muddy. That's all going to get dragged back. We're just going to turn the whole place into a bog, and I don't want that happening. So we need a nice hard frost or some dry weather. That's probably not going to happen this side of Christmas. But Christmas coming up, aha!
4 months ago, this is what my drive looked like. And you could go down the tunnel system from inside my house and you would reach a dead end, as there is more digging to be done. So we started digging the drive up, but we realised this was going to be much too hard. So we got the digger in and made a huge hole. Oh my God, what have I done? There is no going back. But what am I doing this for?
So I'm building an underground garage linked to the tunnels which go up into my house so my DeLorean can rise up out of the ground. Subscribe, this is going to be totally awesome. This is the biggest DIY project on the internet. Well, it's getting there. Right, Colin, what have you been up to? Now, up until now, this has been my CAD model, my cardboard aided design, as to what's happening and what's going on. But there's a lot of questions and a lot of people are obviously not quite understanding the scope and the full picture of this project. So I think we need, in true Doc Brown style, we need a model.
ColinFurze does whatever a fuzzy does. Have a bag, set a fire, build an underground tunnel. No one else. Here is the ColinFurze.
How cool is this? This is brilliant. No, sorry for the crudeness, and it's not quite to scale. Actually, that is totally not true. It is bang on scale, but you've got to get your Back to the Future references in, haven't you? Now, as you can see, this is to scale. Basically, 10 centimetres on here is 1 metre in reality. So I think that makes this a 10:1 scale. Now, unfortunately, my DeLorean, I think, is 18:1. So it looks a little bit lost. Never mind. Need to find a bigger DeLorean model. So you can see where we're at. We've got the tunnel sticking out down here, just below the house. Very nice. And then basically we've dug up to this little line here. That's what we've excavated so far. And of course, the bit of room that we've made is this. So this bit here goes in here. That is what has been constructed so far. So here we are in that beautifully fabricated steel room. Now, while I was doing this, or particularly when I was doing the ceiling, that's when I looked up and I thought, there is a lot of concrete going over the top of this. It's not just really thick, but it's also really wide. And at that point I thought, I better just get this double checked.
So my design consisted of the steel room set in the concrete with some vertical steel joists welded to the side of the wall, mirrored on both sides, and of course across the top was some bigger steel joists.
So at the central point here, the concrete was looking about being 500 to 600 mil thick, and of course that across the whole thing, that's a lot of weight, that is. So, had a structural engineer check this. This part, actually okay. It's in the reinforcing mesh application where things started to differ. Right, so here's Colin's rebar. He just slides that down into the concrete for the floor slab, which by the way was a nightmare to put in. We're not doing that like that. I'll get onto that later. But as well as that, Mr. Structural Man, he wanted a second one right up against the wall behind it. Now, that would have been okay. I'll just slide another one. But no, there's more complications. He just didn't want it flat. He wanted it bending and tying in to that bottom floor slab so it keys into the bottom bit. And as difficult as this was to get in, it does make sense.
Which I can demonstrate with this wonderful test.
Now, all the forces on my walls are coming from the weight of the ceiling, the expansion of the clay and the rock basically trying to push itself into the room. Now, if you can imagine, this is the reinforced mesh in the concrete. When something is pushing against it, it's trying to bend it, but also as it bends, it loses height. It gets shorter. So basically what that's doing is it's pulling on the top slab and pulling up on the floor. And by bending that rebar round, you divert some of those forces, so they're not just pulling up, but they're pulling across, and then they're pulling on the whole concrete slab, going across the floor, distributing that load even further. Now we can calculate these forces quite precisely because I had a geotechnical survey done. And this is basically a dude which comes out, takes rock samples and sends them off for crush tests, and then has this little twisty device which he puts into the clay, tells him how firm the clay is. Tested it, we're in firm clay. What's after firm? Can you get, is there...
After firm is stiff.
Stiff after firm.
Very stiff.
Then very stiff. We got a firm on, we have. Now it's about 5 minutes into the video, and before you see me struggle trying to get this bent rebar in and actually bend the rebar, it's time. Now, despite only being 10mm thick, rebar is pretty strong and very difficult to bend. So I fabricated myself a little bending device which you just slot on, and it makes it very slightly easier. But the problems don't end there. Now getting this round and under here is going to be a bit of a peg. Trimming the rebar, trimming the rocks, getting it stuck, getting me stuck. Working in a confined space, this was a tricky job. Now, adding to this already difficult job is the fact that in an ideal world, this stuff doesn't want to be touching anything other than concrete. Doesn't want to be touching the ground, doesn't want to be touching my steel room. So as well as trying to bend it and fish it under the floor, I need to hold it in a position so when the concrete comes down, it doesn't shove it and move it all around and get it in the wrong place. Now, we achieve this by welding pegs onto the steel room and onto the rebar to hold it into position. And this worked an absolute treat. Even with concrete flooding round it, it never shifted anywhere, and once it's all set, we're good to go with the next bit. So we're left with this, about 400mm of rebar sticking out of the concrete, and the 400mm is important because every time we join our rebar, we have to go 40 times its diameter. If it's 10mm, of course, that gives us 400mm. Boom. So now we need to bring another bit down and overlap it and connect it onto our rebar, but it still has to not touch the room. And then, of course, after that, we need a secondary layer in front of that one. Now, to attach this rebar to the lower part, there's two common methods. You got old school with a tie and a tie wrap. Wrap it round, hook it on, spin it until it goes tight, and then just fold it over. Or there's the modern method. One of these, a tie gun. Basically, just put the jaws over it, pull the trigger, and it ties it automatically. Absolutely fantastic, saved me so much time. With the pegs we welded on to hold the rebar in place removed, we carefully lowered the new rebar down into the garage. I proceeded to put it into place, tie it to our bottom bit of rebar. I then bent individual pieces to tie to our vertical rebar to wrap round the corner to form a continuous mesh. Then with the secondary layer fitted and spaced off, it's time to fill it in with concrete. Now, it's very difficult to know how much concrete you're going to need. So for this project, we've been using a volumetric mixer. This is basically a cement mixer, which has separate bays for the sand and the gravel and the concrete. They come down a conveyor belt, mix at the entry port, and then, of course, you can use as much or as little as you want. And also, you can make it as wet or as dry as you want, or you can change it halfway through the process. This is ideal for our application to get it flowing at the right consistency and to the level we require. That's all gone off nicely, as you can see in there. Now, we didn't form this whole wall in one concrete pour for two reasons. And the first one is weight. Concrete is heavy. When we were doing the bunker, we absolutely piled loads of concrete down on top of the tunnel, and we noticed a very slight bow forming in the walls. So to mitigate that, we just distributed the concrete more evenly, but these walls are a lot taller. This room is a lot higher. They're going to suffer from that even more. So we've got thicker box section, but also down this side wall, we put a load of 45-degree braces to properly hold it up. And if you remember when I actually built the room, I had these plates with all the little circular holes in. So we're halfway up, they'll get knitted in. So once it goes off, they're proper solid, it's good. And now the second reason is damp-proof membrane. Now, the damp-proof membrane doesn't come all the way down to the bottom because at this layer of the rock, this is better draining than anything. When we dug the tunnel, anything below this point was bone dry the whole time we've done it. Any moisture or water that gets down to here will just dissipate through the rock. But as well as this, we want the concrete to fill in all these gaps, so like properly stitch it into the ground, because any stresses, any forces, any movement pushing against the room, the more it's connected to its surrounding area, the better. So, bit of damp-proof membrane down to there. Fantastic. There's your second pour. Boom. Right, we've got a rebar up, we've got a membrane down, and we've got concrete to here. The last part we need to do to complete these walls is to add a horizontal RSJ beam across here. Now this is to basically take the expansion of the clay, because this top seam is in the clay. When that gets wet, it expands. It is going to push on these walls with a lot more force. So that is to basically keep the whole room level and straight across the whole thing. All good. And then we need to get some rebar and attach it over the top here to knit the two bits together. And we do this with these little hoops, which I've had pre-formed, very nice. And this isn't just to make it look very nice, because the whole thing runs around nice and level, does look very good. It's so when we do the rebar going across the top, which of course needs to take all the weight of the vehicles, it all ties in and knits together. So that goes onto there like so. Then there's a lower one which will also come underneath those beams, and the whole thing will stitch in, and that is where all our strength is. So got my rebar walls formed, then we've got a bit of shuttering. Shuttered this end off here, just underneath the horizontal bar, filled that up with concrete, and that gives us like a bit of a boundary wall. And of course, remove the plywood. You can see that looks very nice. We've got an extra bit of rebar, which is going to head over the roof as well. Then, after that, we took all the lead off and everything, and it can expose the project for the actual scale it is.
I've said my thank yous, I've said my goodbyes. I've really done it this time. I should have known, I should have known better.
And that brings us back to the future, back to the present day. Now, I've been working on this for about 3 to 4 months, which is a very long time, but this was always going to be the most difficult part. Getting this all set out, getting it aligned, taking the time to measure everything, cross-reference it, making sure we're building this in the right place, because it has to be parallel with the house. The garage, the garden and everything are all funny angles and all go off at a different tangent. So I can't use them as references, so I had to use the house, and we're not quite under the house yet, so this was all have to be done off the walls, which we can't see from down inside the hole. So what's left to do with this bit? Well, first off, the concrete, which goes down up to the little boundary wall we've poured, and across the top of this RSJ, that's all going to be done with a lighter grade concrete. And because it's so big, it'd be a victim of its own weight. But we're not going to cast that yet, we're going to wait till we've finished doing the whole room. Now then, what is next, Colin? We need to dig a bit more out, but how much more? Okay, I hope this bit is going to clear up a lot of the questions as to what this project is all about, where it's going and where everything fits in. So, the next dig. We cannot dig a massive hole as wide as what we've done before, because we've got the doorway and the house to worry about. If we undermine this little door frame here and this pillar here too much, then we risk destabilising that and possibly having some cracks form in the walls. So, we need to dig up to about the side of the door there and straight down, but as well as that we need to go a little bit deeper as well. Now if I get my extra piece of model, this is stage 2, so that is the next bit of room that we need to form. Now I don't know if you noticed on all the reinforcement that come down here and everything, there was all the bars sticking out, all the 400mm bars. We've got that to build off, so this bit is going to be a lot easier because we're not having to worry about where everything is, we're just extending the room. Now I know what you're saying, Colin, why is it going a little bit deeper? Well, we've got the car to worry about and how it gets lifted in and out. And where is that happening? That is happening here. Now get the rest of the model. I hope I can do this without knocking the camera. This is the rest of the room. It is going to be big. Look at that. This is the grand plan, people. So the car will come up out the floor here. Where's my DeLorean? I've been looking online for a bigger one, can't find one. Even the Playmobil one is the same size as this. The Lego one might be fractionally bigger. You will drive onto the drive. This bit here will have a lift mechanism and the whole thing will lower down into there. And then I'm going to have a turntable system so the whole thing can turn around. And then when it comes back up again, you'll be able to drive off forward. Amazing. We can all agree that that is going to be the best thing ever to happen to a 3-bed semi-detached. Now, the reason why this bit has to go deeper is because when this floor lowers down, obviously part of this lift mechanism has got to go into the floor, because I want the floor to remain completely level. I don't want you to walk into the room and then the car be up on a plinth or anything like that.
I want it all to be level. So that has got to sink into the floor. Now, the exact depth of this, I'm not totally sure yet, but I've got a rough idea. It's probably going to be the same distance as the bottom of this horizontal bar to the surface. Because when the floor comes up, this is kind of like a bit of a point where we can't go past very easily with the lift mechanism, because that sticks out past the wall of the actual roof. And it's the turning of the car, which is why it has to get lower over here and not just underneath the car. Because if you can imagine like a massive circular disc that's got to turn round, that's got to sink into the floor as well. Hence why the floor is lower right over here and right over here. As this is to scale, you can see if I put the camera in here, it's going to be a big old room. But this is what we've got to do. So there is a lot of work ahead of me, a lot of work. But as you can see, it's going to be epic. Now this hole here is just purely so you can see through it, but I have left another hole over there because there's been so many requests for you to still be able to see the rock, because obviously the rock face wall we've got at the moment does look pretty cool, and when you come around the corner and you see that, it is kind of impressive. So I am going to try and leave that exposed. I am worried it is going to condensate up and it's constantly be getting wet, damp on the other side of the glass, not the room side, the other side. Now you can use those systems that they use in skyscrapers where there's like a magnet and a squeegee that you could go around, but if it gets to that point I might make it so if it doesn't work you can kind of retro fill it in and go over it, because I don't think we want, you know, condensation and stuff everywhere. Got enough problems with that at the minute. That is the grand scheme of things. We shall do this bit next, just up to the doorway, and then this bit will probably be done in another 2 sections. Yes, there is a lot of work for me to do. A lot of work, but it's going to be well worth the effort. Now, before we dig this next bit, there's a little bit of prep that we need to do outside before we go digging out a load more.
First up, we need to do a little bit of power weeding and pulling a tree up with the JCB. But fear not, people, I don't believe in chucking trees away, and it has been replanted in the countryside, although I think the journey has took its toll on it slightly. Fingers crossed it pulls through. Then next up, we set out some supports to move the massive metal thing we made originally that the van was going to park on while we dug underneath it. Then it's time to remove the boundary stone between me and my neighbour's driveway, which of course I will be replacing afterwards, to add some tracking down. Now what this is to save the gardens being completely chewed up by the JCB and Tom when he brings the digger in for the second time. This is the sort of stuff that you get events that you put down on like concerts and stuff, so this will keep the ground protected while we drive all over it. And then it started raining again. I'm like, come on weather, Tom is ready with his digger. Okay, we're all ready to dig some more out. Now, of course, the next bit of room is going to be 1200mm. It's going to be that because that's the thickness of a sheet of metal. Now, this time we're going to put the reinforcing mesh and everything down first. We'll put it up the walls and everything before we even start building the room. And if you're wondering, well, why didn't you do that before, Colin? I've been doing the tunnel for like 2 or 3 years, and the methods of which we use there are kind of ingrained into my head, and I just continued it coming out here. But of course the tunnel's slightly different. It's a smaller room, it's not so high. The concrete walls are, if not just as thick as what we use in here, and what we used there was fibrous concrete, where you get like the polymers mixed into the concrete, and that's kind of like reinforcement but within the concrete. Now that is okay for the tunnel, but out here of course we need to be a little bit more stronger because we've got cars, we've got all sorts, you've got the width, the height and everything to consider. So we'll put the stuff in first, and then we'll build the room, and then we'll put the concrete around the sides and everything. Supplying all the steel for this. I'm sort of keeping an eye on costs, so at the end I can give a note as to how much this cost. If you want to try and guess how much this whole thing is going to cost by the time it's finished, that's a good thing to put in the comments. And if you've got any other questions, put them in as well, because I'm going to do a questions video on the second channel next. Because even though I've done my best to explain what I can here, there's no doubt going to be things I've missed or things that I've explained in a slightly weird way, which I think's okay, but you guys might not. So, that is the project. Subscribe, don't miss any of this. It's obviously going to take a long time. I want to try and get it done this year, but I'm going to have a couple of weeks off it now because I'm kind of, after working for 3 or 4 months on this thing, I'm sick of the sight of limestone. So I'm just going to go and do something quick, and then I'm going to come back on it, and hopefully the weather will have improved as well, because we have had officially the wettest February ever, and boy do I know about it. Right, see you in the next one. I hope you like the model though. All those times it was raining and I couldn't get on, I was making this. And it kind of feels kind of retro, innit, to have a model, whereas everything now is done on like computer simulations and stuff. This is cool.
Like rock,
with a few months off to go and build a wall of death. The weather's improved. We're back on the secret garage. ColinFurze, what are we doing? Finally, after what seemed like the longest and wettest winter ever, I'm back on the secret garage project. With Tom and the digger coming tomorrow, I've got to make safe and cover up what we've already done. So, with the roof exposed to what we've done, we need to put a wall across here, protecting the gas, the water and the electric pipes. Now, this is a huge project, so if you're not subscribed, you should be.
I can't tell you how weird it feels to be on this project and it is sunny and I'm warm. Amazing.
We also took the time to take up the block paving blocks so they don't get chucked away because the neighbours having them.
Okay, so we've got a nice solid walkway now so we can get to the gate or do some flossing. And then tomorrow, we've got Tom coming in.
Wait a minute, Colin. Explain what you're doing first. I think we need the model.
So, over the winter, I got this bit built, but over the summer, I'm hoping to now dig the rest of it out. Now, we can't dig it all out in one go, which of course would be very useful, because the house is going to sit right on the edge of the hole. So if we dug it all out in one go, we risk the front of the house falling off. We don't want to do that, so we've got to do it in 3 different sections. Now, the first section, which is what Tom's going to do now, is this part of the room. So this is the first part of the room where it actually drops down a little bit deeper because when the car lift comes down, I want it to sink into the floor so it's all flush. So we've got to go a little bit deeper with this one. So we need, of course, Tom Lamb back.
Guess who's back? Back again. Tom Lamb's back. Back again.
Okay, come on, get on with it, you two. Here we go again, but this time we're in front of the house, which means at some point we're going to find the foundations.
Whoa!
And when we did find them, what a shoddy bit of brickwork. As the hole gets bigger, the true scale of this project really hit me. Of course, digging through solid rock is pretty hard going, and you don't just need a bucket, you need a jackhammer too to smash it up. But the top surface is pretty soft, so placing the digger near the edge of the hole has its dangers. So we moved our aluminium tracking right up to this point so we could get near the edge without falling in. And you can see this was a wise move. Progress was good. The only thing that stopped us was food. We had pizza. Pizza! And then my mum brought Tom a cake.
Diet's going well, isn't it?
And then the ice cream man turned up.
Oh, Tom, just let go of all the levers on the digger.
Hello?
What are you getting, Tom?
A large.
Lard, you were on a diet half an hour ago.
This is just the best day ever.
Shake, shake, shake. Now's the time to take that deep on faith. Woo! Mad header, right at ya. Green trees to make it get better. White rabbit, enigmatic. Time to spell some magic.
Right, we're about dug out, but there's some little bits in the corner which need chimbling away, which we can't get to with the digger because the house is in the way, essentially, or there's a hole where the digger needs to be. So how are we going to do that, Colin? Well, don't worry, Tom has a fantastic idea.
Lower the smaller digger into the hole, which then led to Freddie having an energetic conversation on the phone in his native language. I don't know what he was talking about.
M'għandix ċans biex niġi, narak għada, mhux dal-għodu, issa naqbek għandi ġimgħata narak kelmet kollha.
Open your mind, or don't, that's fine. I'm taking my sweet time, rowing my boat downstream. It's not personal, it's just my flowing. That's how I like to roll. I'm a diva in a Coca-Cola.
digger in the hole, we'd tidy up all the bits the big digger couldn't reach, and anything left over, I'd tackle manually. The remaining spoil lifted out, it was just a case of tidying up the edges, cleaning it out, and then of course covering it over so nobody falls in it. And there we have it, the room is bigger. Now, so with the bulk of the hole done, it's time to clean up the edges, chimble away the bit of house foundation which sticks out, which will be in the way if we leave it there. Then with just a bit of edge cleaning with a nice clean hole. Okay, nice and flat, nice and square. Next little job, bit of damp proofing, bit of framing. We're doing it slightly different this time. I'll explain afterwards. So I did a couple of welds and something didn't quite feel right. Turns out I've washed my welding jacket. I've drunk the blooming thing. Never mind.
Time to get up, let's get ready. Washing my head, need to focus on the hollow spine.
With the floor frame set out and level and where we want it, time to add a bit of damp proofing and then of course add the much important rebar, which is much easier to put in when there's not a floor in the way. Okay, rebar's in, beautiful job. Now, next thing we need to do is put the concrete down, but of course the concrete, we only want it to go where we want it to go. So effectively, I've made like a little pond. Now, I didn't want to pierce and do anything unnecessarily damaging to the bottom damp-proof course, so I've added a little extra little bit, which I've folded up, whacked a bit of Kingspan over the bits of rebar which poke through it, pushed that underneath my little edge beam, folded the extra bit of polythene over the top, and then welded these little taggy things on to stop it all blowing out. And essentially we can fill that up, and that will be the first concrete base done. And then of course we've got to get the concrete down here. Normally you'd fire it onto the roof. We can't do that because if we fire it down all the way from there, all the aggregate shoots to the bottom. So I've made this wonderful little chute. Now, with concrete pumps being expensive, I've got a bit of 6-inch underground pipe, put a chain on it, and then made this little clampy thing which goes over our cover, clamp that on, slide the pole down it, hook it on the little bolts, boom, stick a traffic cone in the top. Oh, the concrete man was impressed. This is the Furze concrete chute.
Yeah, it's nice.
Look, it's controllable, look, we can angle it. Are you impressed with that? Then with the mixer fired out, it comes straight down the tube and straight out the end, and it looks, well, you can see what that looks like. Anyway, bit of vibrating, bit of more plop, 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 all done. Spread it around and smoothing it off. Job done. Then once it's cured, remove all the Kingspan and the extra polythene, then grind off the little pegs which held our rebar in position while the concrete was being poured over it. Chop off the extra bit of metal we don't need now. Oh, we've got a lovely floor. Well, we got half of it anyway. Right, that's set. Beautiful. But we're doing it differently this time. We're going to put the sheets on top. We're going to drill holes and plug weld them where we can't get to the edges with the welder, because obviously you can't get underneath it now. Stick some down there, put an upstand up. I've done all the mesh in here, and then we can have a second layer of concrete. Now, we're going to need some more sheet down here. Last time we precariously dangled it on some straps. I've got a new tool. Slow motion, plasma cutting. I didn't mean to film it in slow motion, but I did. Sparks everywhere, looks real nice, but it slows the video down. With the sheets cut, while Charlotte was there, I decided to put the rebar in. Yes, I hate rebar. I really hate rebar. Although, to be fair, this is much easier putting it up before the walls are up.
Never ever can a man look disheveled with a gun to his head or a thorn in his ego. He's trying to win the confidence of his own insignificance. Covers what I shoulda, coulda, won't make a difference when you're crying for your mother if I won't.
Okay, floor's done. Next off, to put the wall up, we've got to put this RSJ in first. So basically I've cut all these little slots down there, slotted it in there nicely, kind of like tucked it in. Now that is defined by where this next RSJ comes across here, and this is where we check if we've got the room parallel to the house. So basically I'm going to put this, extend this other one out across here, measure it to the house foundations, although they're a bit wonky, but we'll do our best. And then we can fix that to that, get that level, and then that will tell us where our wall needs to be. So we need to pull this RSJ up to here. Now I was going to do it with a telehandler, but I can't bother to go and get it. So I've rigged my winch up outside my front door, and I can winch it up myself. This could go horribly wrong. Yeah, did it, didn't I? Level the RSJ up, see where it comes to, and see if it's in line with the wall down there.
So with it all welded up, it's time to do the other side. Now I went and got the telehandler this time, which means you've got to lift the lid off, and then we lower a beam down. This is way more easier than doing it by hand, Colin. And it's just a case of getting it all set up and welded up. And now with this RSJ in place, we've got something to put the wall up against. So we get the sheets across, we get the 50mm box section, clamp that on, weld it up, voila, we've got a wall. Right, that's got one of the walls up. Now, rather annoyingly, I've had to do this bit separate down here. I thought it was going to be one full sheet with a little bit cut out, but Colin's gone and added 4 centimetres onto something somewhere, so it's not quite high enough. But it doesn't matter, it's all good, because you won't see that, it'll be under the floor. Right, that's that one. Got to do the other one, and then we've got some more concrete coming tomorrow. Lovely. So, with the wall beams set up, solid, welded up and vertical, and the concrete poured into the floor, we can't do any more until we've got a roof. Now last time I put my swag bender on my little fabrication table and did it outside the kitchen door, but this had its issues as bending things up into the sky in a tight space just caused problems. So we laid the electric one on its side on the lawn. Why didn't we do this before? I don't know. With these beams put up and fixed into position, it's then for me to climb down and clean up the edge of the existing roof so I can lay the sheets down and weld up to them. These have got quite messy, and Tom had bashed them quite a lot with a digger. Now the roof on the face of it is a simple job. We've basically got some beams going across, which I call ribs, with just some sheets on the top of it, which you just weld together. But you have to keep your eye on everything. You have to make sure that everything is level, squeezed up in position, and not going all wonky. You can't just go and weld one side up without checking the other side, or else you'll end up welding in a problem that you're never going to be able to get rid of. So, although it's simple, there's a lot of bashing and fiddling about. And then, of course, you've got the bits that Tom lambs whack with a digger, which I have to turn into like a car bodywork person and pull out. But it's all good. Afterwards, grind it off, smooth it off, you'll never know. And once finished, my front door becomes a lot safer. Then the final structural job is to set the patterns up, which the RSJ goes across. Now this is the bit where I sat down to tell you everything's lovely. It's level, it's fixed on, beautiful. Just got a bit of foam insulation board to put up the side because we've got some concrete coming. But old Colin's flicked his camera to slow-mo again, hasn't he? He's even filmed himself getting an ice cream in slow-mo. The wall concrete is done in 2 stages. Once up to halfway up the wall with some 45-degree bracing, and then once we've got the damp-proof membrane laid down to halfway down the wall, we can then fill up the rest of it. Then the last job is to clean up the mesh, bend the edges of a bit of rebar, because this is going to come up across the roof and eventually will go across the whole thing. Weld this in position and then seal it up, ready for concreting.
Right, that's got that shuttered off. I've made sure this time to put plenty of 45-degree stanchions up against the plywood, because when I did it last time, I couldn't believe how much it bowed with just so little concrete behind it. Just goes to show how much mass and weight concrete's got to it.
With the rebar cut to height and the top rings added, that is the final bit of wall complete. So if the end's sealed up, the last concrete is booked. We've got Chris Bibby here again. Not sure if you caught his name in the last video.
Why have you got a white t-shirt on?
Yeah, it's too hot. Yeah, white t-shirt, probably not the best of ideas, but they are. And then once that's set, it's just time to move the sheet across and do it all again and dig another section. And with it nearly dug, I had a brainwave of how to solve one of our main problems while digging. Now, one of the problems we've just got this last little corner here to chimble out, but Tom can't see what he's doing. But we've had a brilliant idea. I'm FaceTiming him so I can film the rock face and then he can see what he's doing. It's working very well. What about that? You want to be coming in here? Tilt your thing in a bit. That's it. Go down at that. It's like he's playing a computer game now. It's your concentration phase. And in 2 minutes of video, 1.2 metres of room has been added. So where are we in the grand scheme of things then, Colin? Where are we at? Okay, we're now up to this point in the model. The next part we dig out is the bit where the car is going to come out at the top. So when we dug this, we don't need to build a roof on top of it. Now, hopefully, we can dig it all the way out to this, and this will be the final dig. However, the weather has severely turned on us. Now, it's looking like 2024 is going to be one of the wettest years we've ever had in this country. And yet again, it is raining and it is having an effect on this project. We thought, do we delay it because of the weather? But then we thought, no, we just got to get on with it anyway. Now, the weather may have been terrible, but we've got a new weapon. This thing has proven very useful. Thank you very much, Rhinox. It was working so well, it was steaming. And then the weather got even worse. This probably is the worst weather we could have chose for this. It is absolutely hammering it down. Collapsing at its feet. So watching from inside, I thought, can I control the digger with my mind? So, with the digging nearly done, I think it's time to give 3 cheers for Tom Lamb for his work on the digger. I had a little go at lifting the last bits out, and you want to see my concentration's face. But this has not been your regular digging job. You've got to be millimetre perfect up against the house. He's had gas pipes and water mains to negotiate. Yeah, he's clipped the steelwork a few times, but I think he can be forgiven. So, if you want to go over to Tom Lamb's channel... Oh, this is a big room. Oh, it's a big room. Now, it's a little bit like a tent. When you chuck it on the floor, it looks really small. When you put it up, it's massive. That's Colin and his drawings. I've literally just drawn the whole of my front garden and go, that should be big enough. And now I'm looking at it as a massive room. Oh, it is big enough. It's huge. Now, rather annoyingly, this isn't quite all dug out. We're about 400 mil short. We haven't been able to dig it all out because, of course, it's not just digging the hole. You need to be able to cover it up afterwards so nobody just walks straight down into it. We're at the limit of the lengths of wood that we can buy safely to cover it up properly. So we've probably got about another metre to dig out, just the width of Tom's bucket. But anyway, we'll do that another time. Now, before I talk about the next stages, I want to get a nice little bit of concrete floor down so I feel like I can explain things a little bit better. So, a bit of mesh on the floor. A little bit of frame to weld the floor to. A little bit of mesh up the side. What do we need now, Colin? Now we just need some concrete, but not a bit of concrete, a lot of concrete. Our record before was about 6.5, 7 cubic metres. I've worked this out, it's nearly 10. This is a full crisp bibby load. Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Okay, so this is where the car comes in and out. There's a lot of confusion when obviously I first started building this and I put a roof on it over there. Everyone was like, Colin, how'd you get the car in and out? Where's that going to happen? It's going to happen here. Dead in line with the centre of the lounge window. Now, I can show you a car in this position. I can do it on shape. You can project your 3D models on it. Fantastic. That's what that's going to look like. Car's going to sit there. Now, you can see now why I didn't want to dig this all out in one go. We had to do it in 3 sections because the house is literally teetering over the edge of the hole. This is the most I would like to dig out. Even this is even risking it. Okay, next part of this project, we need to finish building the roof. But the RSJ work going across this bit where the car comes out is slightly different. I've had loads and loads of RSJs dropped off by Newark Steel. Thank you very much. They are the suppliers of the steel for this whole project. Now, because this is an opening, we don't have any of these big steel beams going right across the gap, so we need to kind of add more strength into this bit in front of the lounge window. So rather than one of these beams coming across here, there is going to be 2 of these beams going across here. Now, this back wall, we spoke about having a window here, didn't we? So you could see through and see the rock behind it. Not going to do that because I don't want to interrupt the shell of this thing and have a hole where moisture or anything or any other problems can come in. So I'm going to do it slightly different. There is still going to be something there. I'm going to talk about it on a second channel video. Keep your eyes peeled because I may need your assistance on this. I think it's time we finish this room off. Yes, Colin. This is a model of the secret underground garage I'm building in front of my house for my DeLorean to rise up out of the ground. It connects to my secret tunnel which goes along the side of the house, up into the house and up into the workshop, and will eventually come down the garden into this, the underground bunker. Now, so far, we have built half of the room down to here, a little bit of the floor, but in this video, we are going to get this room finished. Everything complete, including this little rim wall here where the car comes out. So, subscribe. This is an epic project unlike you have ever seen before on the internet. Right, get on with it, Colin. So, with the whole 98% dug and a nice concrete floor laid, we're back on building the walls. But this is the bit where the car comes out. So rather than having a roof over the top of it, this is just going to be a big, straight wall right up to the surface. And as with the rest of the room, there are steel beams going vertically up the wall. But as this is a bigger span, I've got 2 steel beams to deal with at the same time. And this adds another set of problems.
Okay, got a strange moment here. We've got 3 RSJs that can't be fixed into position until they're all into position, which of course is kind of tricky because then I've got 2 loose ones and a big loose one on the top. I don't like that situation. Now then, I've devised a plan because I've not got the JCB here at the minute. I've got a winch clamped up somewhere up there, and then the cable comes down along some clamps and then back up, so hopefully we can winch it up level. Is it gonna work?
So do I. And now it's my turn. It's a little story, better get me some.
Colin, I think that works of treat, and you have unintentionally done something actually semi-safely. Right, get it clamped up quick.
Yes.
With the 3 steel beams in place, it's time to get them level, get them parallel with the house, and set up where I think they need to be. And then do the same on the other side.
Okay, we've got 2 sets of RSJs now, either side of the room. Now the thing with these is I had to make sure that they were dead parallel, because I mean the room's pretty good, it's pretty square, but because this is where the car lift's coming out, I wanted to make sure that they were absolutely dead in line with each other, dead level, so we haven't got any of this going on or any wonkiness like that, so when the car lift sits in the room, it doesn't look like it's all twisted, if you know what I mean. So that's good. Now we just need to put the little pads on the top and then put a big long RSJ going across the top like we have done here, only you'll see it there.
So I started setting the plates up. Now, does anybody else have this issue?
These are the magnets that you can't get off the bit of steel when you want them, but they won't hold the bit you want to hold. Strong as anything trying to get them off there. Put them on here, bit of steel, no.
Anyway, indecisive magnets aside, got the pads welded up, time to get the big steel beam across.
I don't know why I'm doing that.
Nor do I. And I'm actually you. Then with the steel beam carefully lowered into position, my normal job would be to weld it to the steel pads and that would be it. But when Tom digs out the last 2% of this room, that beam's going to be in the way. So this time I just put some temporary bolts in it so we can shift it at a later date. I then check everything again to see if it's still level and straight and then start putting the walls up. Then with the walls all up and looking fantastic, it's time to pour some concrete down the back. But wait! Colin has made a discovery.
Oh, internet, what are we going to do? We've put the foam board up because we've got concrete coming, and I'm looking down here when we've got a bit of overspill. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to have to digitally zoom in. Down there, a bit of foam board. I know what you're thinking, Colin, that's not much. Why are you getting aggravated? But it does worry me. We've done all this effort to get this beautiful 300mm plus thick concrete wall, and then I've gone and put a load of foam shavings at the bottom of it, which will perfectly stop the seal between the two. So, to get this out, I've devised a wonderful system of extendo vacuum. Put that on there. I'm going to do this one-handed. Bear with. Might have to get some tape. Wait there. We've got that taped on. Right, and Simo, fire it up. Come on, mate. Up. Oh, yeah. There we go. There. Right, back down we go.
So, foam removed, it's time to fill it with concrete.
Righty-ho, 2 walls filled it with concrete to this level. Now, normally we'd stick a roof on over here, but of course this is where the car is going up, so that's not going to happen. So this wall needs to continue all the way up to this steel beam, which I've been calling an RSJ, reinforced steel joist or something like that, or rolled steel joist, I don't know. But of course Google Translate turns that to Irish J, which is why some people don't know what I'm going on about.
Well, that looks lovely, Colin. Now, while we fill the back of this with concrete, who's paying for all this?
Make your mind up quick. I holiday away from you. I still believe you're taking me for a ride. I still believe you're gonna let me drive. This is what you started.
Now, as this was the last dig, we had this brilliant idea that we'd suspend the digger in midair, take a picture of me sat in it. Well, we got carried away and lifted me the whole way out.
Not what I had in mind.
Straight up. That's all right, go on, boom it back. Straight up.
I need a reaction, not another look this close.
And of course, with this being the last dig, that's Tom Lamb's job done.
See you later.
Thank you so much.
The last invoice.
And the last time we'll need the muckaway service. Thanks to the guys at CESL and Chris, the driver, they've been very accommodating on what is an unconventional site. Yay! And of course, like with all previous digs, there's bits of stuff to clean out in the corners, there's rebar to clean up, rebar to straighten out, and chimble off all the bits of rock that Tom couldn't quite get at with the digger.
Oh, beautiful.
And then with us edging closer to winter, the weather changed. We've had snow and we've had a lot of rain. Don't worry, Rick's on the case.
Although he's a bit of a contradiction today with a high-vis jacket, camouflage trousers. I mean, does he want to be seen or not?
Now, you can't sweep the water off the top without it leaking. So we thought, leaking a bit, leaking a lot, it's all going to get wet. Let's just brush it all in. Then just sweep it up and blow it onto the rock and it just drains away. Now, another anomaly of being underground is how warm it gets. And you could see when we lifted the lid off just how warm it actually was down there.
So hot in here. Look at that.
Anyway, Colin, never mind looking at steam, you've got a floor to construct. So I get my plastic down, get my rebar mesh in and build myself a frame of which to concrete round. Then I was again reminded I lived in the UK and it absolutely chucked it down. Now, water on the top, as we've established, isn't really a problem. But this time, it had washed a massive lump of clay off the top of the hole and this had fell down and completely smashed and flattened the wonderful steel frame we've put up. I was not happy about this. In fact, I was totally gutted. Things like this really set things back on this project. Now, cleaning this mess up is quite tricky because you can't just shovel it up with a spade because it's basically rammed itself in all the rebar. So it's a case of getting on your hands and knees, picking it all out and putting it in buckets separately. Not what I wanted to do this morning. Now, with as much of the dirt picked out as possible, I give it a bit of a jet wash to kind of finally clean it and then I could assess the damage. It wasn't good. It was completely mangled. However, I thought it would still be quicker to try and straighten it out than what it would be to replace it all. And the fact I didn't have any more steel. So, with 2 wooden chocks, a nice straight bit of thick steel, and every clamp I own, we got it straight again. Pretty pleased with that, really. I mean, look at it. Gently coming up, doing a bit too much, let it down, boom. Very nice, Colin. It's like car body repair work, really. Oh, look at that. So, getting back to the fabrication, there is one thing that this room clearly needs, and everyone has been commenting on it. You need a sump pump, Colin. So I've fabricated this little box, which will be a low point in the room, which a sump pump can sit in. But additionally to that, it's got a little drain outlet, which goes into one of the cracks in the rocks, which we can use, if we want to just get rid of a lot of water. As you can see, we've poured some water down here. It flows away very nicely. Lovely job. But essentially, there'll be a pump sat inside this with a float switch, and it will pump the water out that white pipe up to the surface. Then with the vertical rebars tied into the floor rebar, I'd say that's job done for the floor.
Okay, we're finally ready for some concrete. So glad to get this bit down because this is arguably the worst part of doing the whole thing is stepping and working on the rebar. So once we get that covered, very good. So, get some concrete in there. Who have we got for that? Of course.
It's Mr. Chris Bibby. Only this time, he'd got back from his holiday from Turkey, got himself some new hair, hadn't he, boy? Then, with the concrete poured and fully set, we decided to remove all the loose rock from the rock face, because once we've built our walls up, if anything falls down the back, it's a lot harder to clear. And then Freddie turned up and told us we were doing it all wrong.
No, that one on there. What a bit fucking elbow grease in it. You're not stroking it, innit? Stroking a woman. Come on. That one, Rick. Look, that bit of stone in there.
Where?
This one in there. That's got to come off.
Then chimble off the sticky out bit of house footings, lay the top damp-proof membrane, and then voila! Go on, go on! Come on, boys, get that rebar wall up.
Okay, I feel like we're finally getting somewhere now, because every time we do something, it's like the last time we need to do it. Pouring concrete in the floor, the last time we need to do that. Sticking rebar up the walls, the last time we need to do that. It feels like the list is getting a little bit shorter. Right, the last time now, we need to put the RSJs up the wall. Okay, last RSJ is up. Now, finally, finish this back wall, Mr. Furze.
Everyone is talentless, and I'm just a poser. Alcohol is just so cool, but I'm 2 years sober, and I've acquired a taste for the minor things of late.
Now, the first concrete pour behind any of the walls, we only go up halfway to stop it stressing the wall and bowing it. But on this occasion, while we were watching it flow round, I saw something rather alarming.
Now, I don't know if you can remember, on the rock face, which is just behind this wall, there is a massive crack and a massive gouge here. And normally I get bits of clay and I fill them in, stuff rocks in it. But Colin's forgotten to do that this time, and the concrete is disappearing down that crack. Apologise, I don't have any footage of this. So, what this means is I've got to crawl down the back of the rebar, along the concrete, till I find the crack, stuff something in it, so we don't lose any more concrete down there on the next pour. Crack inspection. Claustrophobic, don't like this.
Yep, if you're claustrophobic, you're not going to like this bit.
Oh, here we go. Gotta get down there. Right.
So what I'm looking for now is where all the concrete was going.
Oh, bloody hell, it's right up there. Here we are. There it all went, look. All went shooting down here. If you get us a better... Wait a minute. That's nearly filled it up, to be fair. I think if we'd have just left it... But, you know, when you see concrete disappearing down a hole, all I can think of is 25 quid, 25 quid, 25 quid. I'm going to put you in there as well. Get in there. John foam will do. What, shadow foam in the hole? Oh, he's going to love that, isn't he? Right, go on then, Rick. Oh, look at that. I got it. There we go. Worst video footage ever. Saying that. Right. Right, gonna try and get back there.
So, the hole filled in. Just got to try and get out now.
Yes! Mission accomplished.
Well done, Colin. You didn't get crushed with limestone. Right, let's fill the rest of the wall up with concrete. Now here is a perfect example how vibrating the wall settles the concrete and gets rid of all the air.
Okay, we've got concrete up to the top of the wall, but Colin, why does the wall only go up that high? Well, basically, it's Christmas Eve today, and then in the UK, most things are going to shut down for around about 2 weeks. I won't be able to get any concrete, and I can't get any steel. And I thought if I build it up to the full height and put the roof on, I might not even get time to put any concrete down the back. And of course, over those 2 weeks, if we have any massive rainstorms, a load of mud drops down the back, I'm not going to be able to get it out very easy. No. So, first job in the new year is to continue this wall up to the height, put the roof on, and then finish off the last bit of concrete. Roll on next year.
Here we go. New year, same weather. Well, possibly worse. Anyway, stop complaining, Colin, that's hardly snow. So, we took off the 45-degree supports which hold the wall back while it's being concreted, and then swept up all the water. And this was our first excellent test of our new drainage system. I think it passed with flying colours. So, to build the rest of the wall, of course, we're going to need some more sheets. And Colin, in his wisdom, has decided that it's more hassle to go and get the telehandler. So instead, we've set up this kind of safe winch system off the trestles. And well, it did work. And nobody got injured. So I suppose that's a win, really, isn't it? Come on. The winch also come in handy for lifting the sheets into place. Now, you may have noticed I've stepped the wall back here, and I'll explain what that is later, but this was a right pain to weld. And then finally, it's onto the roof. And this winch and trestle system is just proving to be a stroke of genius. Who needs heavy lifting JCBs when you've got a small winch and 2 trestles and some 5x2? I mean, what were we thinking? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We've got an end wall and we've got a roof. But what we've also got is, of course, this is a garage. It's going to have a car in it. Cars do emit fumes, you know, petrol, vapours, and everything can sink on the floor. Now, I've got my high-level vent up there, but I've installed a low-level vent right down in the corner there. It goes up the back and then kind of dog legs out to the boundary, comes out the fence post. So basically, the first fence post of my divided fence is my vent. Right. The last job we've got to do in the main construction of the room is the little wall bit that comes up here. But before we do that, we've got to put an extra RSJ right across there. Hard to believe that this is my front garden. Oh look, people, we have excelled ourselves. I think we're very pleased with it, aren't we? We're pleased with it, aren't we, Rick?
Got paid.
Got paid! So with my fantastic non-wife approved window winch setup, I'm now channeling my inner Egyptian again to try and move the RSJs out without heavy equipment. All you need is a set of sack wheels, look. Well, kind of. Then clean it up and window winch it in. Now, I know it looks like I've got the measurements wrong for this, having to use such force and ingenuity to get this thing in place, but actually it turns out I've got the measurements spot on. Oh, you know, you mean it was a dead perfect measure? Yes, Colin will put that down as another fluke. Now, with it in position, welded up, and a little back plate down the back, it was time to do the other side. And this time, I made it a little bit shorter, and it slotted straight in. Oh, look, it's gone right in, look. They are, Simo. Oh, and doesn't it look lovely? Now, before I can build the car entrance walls, I need to cut the roof back, because I shuttered it. I overshooted them because I wasn't sure exactly where they needed to go to. So I put a little strip of metal down and I got the plasma cutter out and we're cutting them back. Then using the same template I used to make the roof beams, we then cut out some sheets for the wall and lowered them down. Now, there was a slight discrepancy which I maybe could have made up with weld, but why make life harder? So I used the roof as a scribe and cut it off, and then it fitted perfectly. Look at that, Colin. Lovely. Then I knocked up some jigs to make sure when you pull the sheet forward, it goes in the right place, and it's a case of tacking it all along and doing the rest of it.
Face to face with your own fate. Collapsing waves, bones vibrate. Soul starts to shake, shake, shake. Now's the time to take that leap of faith. Right at us, right at you.
Okay, got walls all around the outside, very nice, but these little gaps here have got to be filled in. So I've got these plates, got to slot them up there, weld them in. The only thing we need to consider is a little hole in here, because once this is all welded up, the other side of it, eventually we have concrete, but until then I've effectively made like a steel swimming pool, so the whole thing could fill up with water above the roof. That ain't no good. So I've got these little holes which will have a little drain, similar to basically what's happened before, because as you can see down here, look, there is like a little plate with a waste attachment in, so I'm just continuing that on. I'm doing it slightly smaller, so once it is in and I take it out, once it's full of concrete, the bit of steel box section that goes in the corner covers it up. Lovely!
That's how I like to roll. I'm a diva in a cloak of gold.
Then for the next stage, it's time to take off the whole cover and expose the complete hole where the car goes in.
Bombastic, fantastic.
This is progress. The next bit of metal we put on is a bit that's going to be on the surface. Right, what we need to do is put a plumb line across from the house to the path to get a level of basically where the lid's going to be. It is going to slope down to the house, but that's not going to matter. So we need to know what that line is, and then we can take a little bit off that for like the gutter system, which will be round it, and then we can plasma cut that all the way around. Oh, we're finally at the surface!
So, with the line attached to the house where the top of the drive will be, and to the surface of the path, we then deduct the appropriate amount, and then stick a strip along which we can run the plasma along. We can cut this wall down to the appropriate height.
That's plasma cut that down to there. And that is where the start of our gutter system is going to be. And now we've got this line, we know what we can do right the way across there, which will then give us it from there up to there. So, fixed point, add a little bit of steel across here, do the same on the other side, and then join the two up. I've got it.
Now this is looking fantastic, Furze, but what is this gutter system, and how is this lid going to work?
Now, I've not spoken too much about how this whole car ramp lift system is going to work, but essentially what the car sits on in the room and the lid which covers the hole, and some people thought it was just going to be a hole, I don't know, they will talk to each other. So when they come up together. Car drives off or car drives on, lowers back down, lid comes back down with it. So this lid obviously needs to be sealed, needs to stop any water that goes on the drive or the top of it, anything like that. Can't get round the cracks around the outside, because if that goes in the room, that is bad news. Now, some people spoke of like Thunderbird things where like palm trees it would open up, or the lid like slides into the drive. That is going to be a nightmare for sealing and obviously the whole mechanisms and stuff. So we're going simple, they're going to talk to each other just like that. So round the outside of our hole of what we've got, we need like a gutter and a catchment for anything that might get down the outside, and I'm doing that with angle iron. Now they're going to be two separate sizes. We've got 90 by 90 and 100 by 100. So the 90 by 90 sits on top of the wall that we've just made. Dead in the middle, this is the wall coming up. There's a bit of box section that will go on it. Plates across there, obviously, imagine that sits on top of the wall. Beautiful. And then the 100 by 100 will sit here like this, like so. Then that will get welded all the way along there, creating like this little channel which will go all around the perimeter of where the car comes out. Any water that comes off the drive can flow down and go in there, and any water that flows off the lid will also float and come down there. But how is it going to seal, Colin? Well, you can imagine this is a cutaway of the lid. There's going to be a rubber seal just on the underside here. There'll be box section, obviously, because this is going to be a massive frame. But essentially that will come down and then sit on there. And then this is why the two bits of angle iron are different size. The 100 by 100 obviously sticks up a little bit higher than the 90 by 90. And it gives us that nice little gap. And then it will come down and just sit there. And then if this channel ever gets full of water, because it's blocked for some reason, it will come up, hit that seal, and it still won't be able to pour over into the room. So that is how I'm going to seal the lid and how I'm going to do the perimeter. Oh, don't you fall off. Beautiful. Right. Go and do it.
So, now you know what I'm doing, it's time to get these bits of angle line cut. And they are long, which involves turning them round in the street. Now then, Colin, you've got your measurement right, haven't you?
Back a bit to you. How much? Oh, we've cut that wrong then, haven't we? How the hell have we got that so wrong? Well, that's not right. I don't understand why that's wrong. That's the corner. We've done that off there. That should be right. Oh, wait a minute, I can see the problem. There we go, it's back in line now.
So, I took this as a warning. I should make some little spacey bracket things and only tack weld this on for the time being.
Nice little tack there, very nice, Colin.
Then, with both sides on, I thought I'd better check if both sides were level going across.
I can do.
Oh dear.
Rick.
Oh, Rick, come on, move your finger out of the way. That's better. Then, once happy with everything, we can add the outer upper piece of angle.
In she goes.
And with the corner seams fully welded, grind them nice and flat and nice and smooth. Now, before I weld it up fully, I thought it was a good idea to put the upright beams in to make sure that the wall is up and level and there's no twists in it. Because as we know, welding and twisting go together.
Okay, welding my gutters up. Now, this is proper thick steel, and when you weld it, it wants to move and it wants to twist. Just when I did these bits of box section here, it kind of made these little bits like curl over a little bit. So, what I've been doing, I've been like ramming these little bit plates here. That's to stop it like curling together. I've clamped this bar right across to the other side. That's to stop this bit from twisting up as much as possible. And then as I've been going along, I've been checking it for square, that we're not getting a banana or anything, because obviously if it does get all messy and twisted, it's going to be a bit of a pain to sort out afterwards, because it's thick steel and it's welded in all sorts of direction. It'll just worst case scenario. So that's what I'm doing. But I've only got halfway down one side. Got a lot to do.
Right, that's got the perimeter done, but more importantly, where is the water going to go, Colin, which falls into it? Well, we've got this 2-inch bit of pipe here. This goes all the way down the wall, along the floor, and then into a crack in the rock. Now, that is going to be its like first point of call, so any water that gets in here wants to go down there. I might put a secondary outlet a little bit higher up, so if that blocks up, it's still got somewhere to go and go out to the main soakaway in the back garden. Now then, what we got? We've got this little bit of angle line here, which will continue on from there. Now initially, we was going to get a little bit of pipe, shove it up into the bottom and straight in there. But as you can see, because the wall comes halfway along it, because this sticks in the room 40 mil, you can't get that there. It won't sit in, it will be half and half over the thing. So, to solve this problem, we are going to make a little box in here, which will kind of act like a bit of a trap, and also any muck and stuff which gets down here will then flow into that box, and then there can be like a little bit of a spigot up here, and then it can collect it all and it won't necessarily go down and block that up. But there's some other things to consider. There is going to be a 200 mil perimeter of steel all the way around the drive, which will match like the perimeter around this and basically just give it a bit of an industrial look, I like. And then in front of that, there's going to be another drain, like the main driveway drain. That's going to sit just like that there. Now, all right, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Now then, this obviously poses problems that if we want to have a little box there, we need to be able to get our hands in it to clear it out when it does get full of muck. So, we're going to make a bit of a window. I'm going to move that out of the way so you can see it. Essentially, the walls of our box, let me put this up here a minute. There's going to be one in there. Right, that'll sit there. There will be a back on it with a little hole outlet going to our pipe. And then on the other bit, because obviously there's a bit of angle line that comes out this way, that's going to have a little slot out of it. That'll sit there. There will be a slot out of this front bit as well. I've not cut it out of this bit, because you know that bit earlier when I demonstrated how the lid was going to work. I've not filmed that yet, and I need this bit of metal for it. And then we'll be able to get in, get your hand in, and clear it out. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a little boxy thing. Very nice.
With this finished, we then give it a little bit of paint, and then of course we ran some water down it to test it. And with the drive sloping back towards the house, this aided the water in flowing back to where our box gutter was.
I'd say that's working a treat. And then when we have the lid, that'll come down, sit on there nicely, nice and level, beautiful.
Now, with that complete, there's just one more job left to do. Finish the floor off, have a good old tidy up, and then boom, we've got a room!
We've got surface rust on the floor, we've got a little bit on the walls, and we've got some on the ceiling. There's just a lot to clean. Now this floor, as well as cleaning, also needs levelling, as some of the concrete was put in a little bit lower than the beams.
Okay, we've PVA'd the concrete because we're going to put some self-levelling floor compound down in between the little bits of squares, basically, because the concrete is slightly lower. And then that will build it up, be nice and level, and then we put the steel plates and weld it to the frame down. It will be nice and solid. More solid. Oh. I think we're going to need another bag, Rick. One bag's just not going to do it.
I'm laughing about it now, but I generally looked and thought, yeah, I've got a bag of self-levelling compound. That'll do it all. One bag, Colin? More like 12, you mean? Then with the floor nice and level, it's just a case of cleaning up the steel ready for the sheets to be welded onto. Now, unfortunately this time, we can't lower full 4mm sheets down with our little winch system. They're too heavy. We do need the telehandler for this. It's my wonderful magnet I've got.
Right, that's got all the sheets down. We've tacked them all the way along the outside. We're going to plug weld them in the middle. We've also tacked them, so hopefully it won't ripple and buckle when we weld them up. And there we go, we've got a steel floor. All we need now is a little bit of paint, tidy the tunnel, put the carpet back down, and we've got a room.
Finally, the tunnel is clean and leads to what is going to be an absolutely epic space. I am so excited about this. It is hard to believe that this is under my front garden, especially with what it looks like at the moment. This generally is a real life TARDIS. The contrasting size of the house and size of the garage is now very stark. When this whole project's finished, there'll be more square footage underground than what there will be above ground. This upper step has been temporarily carpeted, which gives a nice clean flow into the tunnel. Eventually, Boxo, the creators of my spanners, are putting tool drawers along here and a workbench. And the upper step exists because the car lift mechanism will lower down into it, and eventually the floor will all be one level. So, the task of covering this bad boy up is quite a complicated one. And to show you, we're going to unleash the cover so you can see it in all its glory. Well, this bit anyway. So, we've got the bare roof, the exposed I-beams, and of course all the rebar which comes up the wall. Now, all the rebar for the roof has been delivered, and it looks very complicated. Now, I do have a sort of plan, which was printed out on a piece of paper. But it was too small to read, so I printed out a bigger piece of paper.
Right, we've got our heads around it now, we understand it. It's essentially, oh, I've dropped the blooming thing. It's essentially a giant puzzle. So, the structural engineer has given me all these little things. It's like a schedule, and it's like a funny map, which doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Wait a minute, Colin. I think people are going to need a better explanation than that.
So this is what I've been given by the structural engineer. Initially didn't make that much sense. Yes, I can see on the cross section, that's clearly all the rebar going around and these ties, but it was like the distances, how far are they supposed to go? Well, there's these little corresponding numbers along here, and these are the end of the corresponding numbers is bars, because every bar has been given a number, and that determines its length and its thickness. So once you know that bar mark 13 starts there and ends there, and then there's another 13 which crosses over it and comes over to here. And then if you look everywhere, there's 3s, there's 1s and everything, and it all starts to make sense.
Now, there's two sets of reinforcing that we're doing here. There's a kind of a mesh which goes over the roof and follows the contour of the roof, and then there is the main slab which sits on the top, which is like a giant big rectangle. And we've got all these different shaped bits which all coincide with bits on that. Now, mesh that goes across the roof is just like a normal mesh which we'll build up out of single parts. And then from that, we've got these little hooks. We've got one that sits somewhere up there and another that sits somewhere down there. And that is to tie the roof reinforcement up into the main slab which goes across the top. And those reinforcements, these hoops here, which go round in here, under there, and then under, over the RSJ, and then it has all these little tie bits which go all over the place, which knit the two levels together. Now, this is not going to make a lot of sense to you until I start doing it. Doesn't make a total amount of sense to me, but I think I know what we're doing. Right.
Up to now, we'd mostly been working with sheets of mesh, so handling it in individual lengths actually seemed a lot easier. It was a little bit tricky in getting it to stay where you wanted to initially, but once you got a load tied together, it was pretty good fun, to be fair. Oh, the old tie gun's really paying for itself now.
Walking away again. I'm not surprised.
I think I've actually done this bit. We've got all the mesh going over the roof. We've got the bits that come up and tie it up. So I think that's that for that. So we can technically concrete this bit now, but we're not going to because we've got to acro prop the ceiling underneath. Now, it's not so bad for this little bit because this is only a small bit. But when we do the whole thing, like the big top slab, especially on the other side, 85 tonne that could weigh if we did it all in one go. It's even been specified to us how we do that.
But while I wait for the scaffolding to arrive, I've got myself a little side project in sorting out the temporary car hole cover.
Now, our previous method of covering this over was like an 8x4 sheet of wood on some 5x2 frames with some little straps which we'd hook off and walk off to the side, and then they sat on some 8x2 joists which we'd also pick up and then take elsewhere. Very safe, it was all nice and solid, but of course it's stuck up loads. I don't like that, I want it nice and flat, so as we start concreting this over and getting the drive back to normal, we've not got this big tower monstrosity in the middle. And then also we can put a nice sheet of tarp over it, a single sheet, so it doesn't leak. Beautiful!
In simple terms, what we're doing here is building a ledge a little bit lower to sit our framing on. Yes, Rick. And there we have it, a nice lower ledge of which we can put our cross frames on.
Now, as well as making it look nice so that it'll be nice and flat, there is another reason. When we put the concrete in behind these walls, the concrete's going to want to force this opening and, put a lot of pressure on it. So we don't want a banana shape in where the car's going to come out because that would look terrible. So by sticking this, it acts as like a bit of a brace, and that can only be a good thing. Unless, of course, I get a banana-shaped car, then we don't want this.
So with the framing all in place, it's time to put our covers back on. Anyway, who's paying for all this time? Now, I did think about buying the acro props, but when you can rent them for £2 a week, doesn't make a lot of sense. And I don't need them afterwards, so we hired them. 21 acro props later, and we're ready to set them up.
Now, I do have a plan of how these acro props have got to go in. We've essentially got 2 rows of 7, and this specifies the distance they're apart and even the scaffold bars and how it's supposed to be braced to stop them from moving and wobbling all over the place. But the thing is, at the top, they're supposed to have some wooden batons go along the roof, but not any old wood, D30 wood, which turns out is like oak or cedar. Anyway, I got a quote on some of these bits of wood, nearly £1,000. Colin was like, ho, 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 ho. So anyway, I said to the structural dude, like, can't we just use steel? Because surely that can be a lot thinner. You know, we're good with that sort of thing. And he was like, well, yeah, sure. So Newark Steel to the rescue.
It's Newark Steel, the saviour of the day.
Good morning, Mr. Furze. It's nice to see you smiling. We're here, we've made it. Where's the teleporter?
We've not got it.
Now, he was right to be laughing, because these beams, although not completely unmanageable, are heavy. But I'd like to think if the Egyptians had a pair of sack wheels, this is how they'd have moved the rocks for the pyramids.
Could tell that she knew her Vixens from her.
Oh, no, but you can't do bumps.
And that was plain to see that she could pull a pint, and that was good enough.
So, with steel delivered, we've cut it into lengths and then put that in the room. Now, last thing we need is some plates to fit our steel beams to the top of our acro props. So, I've swift cut some plates out, and I've put slots rather than holes, because not all the acro props had the same stud pattern.
I think we've got everything. We've got scaffold poles, we've got acro props, we've got the plates to fix them to our substitute steel beams, and we've got all the clamps to clamp it together. Here goes acro prop day.
Pull me closer, I lie dying in your arms, and feel the heartbeats in your chest. So grieve for me as I lie dying in your arms. Watch me take my...
Got all the acros up. I've basically made some angled wedges that have welded to the top of my plate. We shall then weld them to our steel beams and then kind of hoik them up on the ladder, bolt them on, push them up to the ceiling, and then stick all the cross bracing on. Can't help thinking it might be slightly over the top, but it's best to be safe, because the last thing we want is a load of concrete coming into the room. No.
I'll hold you close as you lie dying.
With the plates welded to the steel beams, it's then time to put them on top of the acros, bolt them down, and then wind the acro up to the ceiling.
I swear you one thing that I...
Check it's tight, do the rest.
You harm beneath this shroud of burning sky.
Then, while fitting an upper scaffold bar, we noticed something.
We've got some of it up. We're doing very well, only we've made a mistake, haven't we, guys? So this pole here is the pole which is going to go along the back row up there, but of course it's got to go past this row. But it's not past it, is it, Colin? No, it's in front of it. And how are we going to get it past it now? I'm not sure. We're going to have to do a little bit of untwisting and unearthing things. So slight oversight there, but you know, we're not scaffolders. Now, I'm normally quite good at foreseeing these problems, but not today.
So, with a bit of jiggery and pokery, we sorted that problem out, and then we clamped up to 45 degrees. I'd say that is acro scaffolding done.
Now for a little bit of concrete in, and we know what we've got for that. Whoa, Chris baby, bam-a-lam. Whoa, Chris baby, bam-a-lam. We're gonna bring concrete in this big white bang, gonna pour it in as to my plan. Whoa, Chris baby, bam-a-lam. Whoa, Chris baby, bam-a-lam. He's a volumetric kind of man. He's gonna bring concrete in his big white bang. Oh, yeah!
All right, Colin, that's enough of that.
Excellent, that's got ourselves a nice level platform to work off, which I like. So next up we've got to do the rebar, which wraps around for the roof. Now essentially that's these little hoop things. They go around the RSJs and then they weave into the wall rebar. But there's a couple of things to consider. The bottom level is a lot thicker. It's 16mm rebar, the top's 12. This, if you can imagine, when something wants to be stretched downwards, the bottom layer is going to get stretched, the top one's going to get compressed, so the bottom layer is thicker. And then the only other thing we need to think about is these are 150 centres and the walls are 200 centres, so they're not all going to hit each one of the bars, which I'm told is fine. Don't like it. I think my OCD is going to look at it and think it looks wrong, but don't worry about it, Colin. Apparently it's fine. Right, back to the old rebar puzzle.
And of course, all puzzles have pieces. You got your forward, your backwards bendy bits across the roof, you got your horizontal bendy bits. There's the main slab ends, and then there's the thick main slab bottoms and the thin main slab tops. Now we just need to work out the best order to put them in so they don't get all caught on themselves.
So these bar mark 3s in the end there, both sides, and then this 16mm one. So that goes, yeah, they cross over enough then. Yeah. That's all right. And then the only thing I think we've got is, can we get all these in? Oh yeah, because it's only, yeah, and then spin them round. Yeah. And in there, so I think we want to put all the hoops in first, because then all the other bars can be slotted down and laid on top of them. Okay.
So with a lot of and ahhing, I think we've got a system.
All right. I'll do all the close-up shots of what we've just said so you can understand it all. Okay. Because you can't see from there what I'm pointing at, can you? Making these videos takes just as long as making the actual thing.
And of course, with this being rebar, nothing is as easy as it should be.
About 10:30 Monday morning. We've got Chris Bibby booked in for Wednesday. We may be being a little bit optimistic we're getting all this done.
Bar.
I've gone under the thing here. Sorry everybody, you got moved.
Right, it's got the bottom done, it's got the sides done, just got to do the top now and the joiny bits. Bit of an awkward job, rebarring. If you ever meet anyone that says they do rebarring for a living, or ladies, if you've ever gone on a date with someone that says they do rebar for a living, if they seem a bit short and on edge, just give them a little bit of space. We've been fighting sharp bits of metal and stuff all day. It's looking very nice. Then, after the final pieces are placed in, it's finally finished. Okay, that's got the rebar done. I think I've made a lovely job of that. You can walk on it. It doesn't, like, you know, flex around or anything. Pretty good. Still hate stuff, but never mind. Now, a few extra things we've done is we've extended the sump pump outlet. So that goes off towards the soakaway, and also I've put some little cable ducts in, because obviously once there's a car ramp there, it's going to need sensors and stuff, so if anybody comes anywhere near it, the whole thing just shuts off. So I've done that, got some little bits of extra polythene to go in, because this has all got a little bit scuffed. All that's left to do now is cover it in concrete. Chris Bibber style. No, Colin, that is enough of that. Please shut up. Right, with that bit done and covered up, it's now time to go on to the other side of the drive. Today feels like another milestone day. We're going to start clearing this part of the drive, which means this bit of steel here, which has been covering it up since, like, I don't know, last February. Tom's going to come and remove that. But just to prove how wet this job was last year, there is a puddle that sat in the middle of that bit of steel. That has never dried up. That puddle formed last February, and it has never dried up since. It went all through the summer and was still there. Right, let's get all this off. Get all the sheets off, get all the bits of wood off, and then we need to kind of figure out how we're going to temporarily cover it up again, because we can't just leave it off just in case somebody comes and walks in, falls down the hole. So we still need to be able to cover it, but we need to be able to lift it on and off like we have done the rest of it, so we can get access to it. And then we start rebarring and concrete. You know the drill. Lovely sunny day, excellent. Removing these panels felt like real progress. I've not seen this part of the garage for like 6 months. I know it's only a small detail, but it felt good. So it's just occurred to me, you probably can't remember what this metal sheet was for. Well, essentially, when we first started digging this garage, we started digging by hand, and we were going to put this metal platform over the drive and then dig under it. So I designed it to take the weight of a vehicle, but that's not quite how things panned out. So today we're taking it away because we can't move it without a teleangler. And once it's gone, finally I can see the roof of the garage again, and boy does it need cleaning. Now, as well as dust, there is also some water to get rid of. So finally, I bought myself one of these.
I've been saying about getting one of these for ages, and at the end of the job nearly, we finally bought one.
The tool in question is a wet vacuum. Now, you'd think as an ex-plumber I'd have one of these, but I haven't. And this is not the first time we've had to vacuum any water up, but I was just too tight.
We should have bought one of these ages ago!
Yes, you should have, Colin, but you were just too tight and didn't want to spend that £39.
Here you go!
So, with that all dried up, we just need to chimble off some of the extra concrete and tidy the whole thing up. But I know what some of you are thinking, Colin, it's all gone rusty. Well, I've told you before, concrete protects the steel, and here is a perfect example of how.
Now, you lot are always worrying about rust, but I'll keep telling you, you don't need to worry about it because the concrete protects the steel from rusting. And even the rusty steel, once the concrete's gone over it, it stops it getting any worse. And I can prove it to you. Wherever we've had a bit of steel and we've got dripped concrete on it, if I chimble this bit of concrete under, no, if I chimble this bit of concrete off, you'll see underneath, it's not rusty. Look at that! Look at it! Look at that, look!
Yes, Colin, don't gloat. But oh, look at the garage. We can finally see it in all its glory.
Okay, before we cover this in rebar and concrete, we've had to consider the electric. So I've put this little 2-inch duct in here, ready for a brand new cable to be dropped into the garage. Now, of course, drilling a hole through a curved roof is not very easy, but I've got a bit of wood, wedged it up, put the hole saw through that, drilled through it, and then the kind of bit of wood is like a collar then, which holds the hole saw in position while it goes through the sheet metal at an angle, holds it all nice and steady. Beautiful.
I then welded a short piece of pipe in, which we could attach a plastic pipe to for further ducting, but I forgot to tell you that.
So we've got that in there, but we need to consider the future, because obviously that's going to be a supply for the garage. But once this whole underground tunnel system becomes one, I only want one electric supply. So the bunker, which is fed by a cable which comes out the back of my fuse board, goes all the way down the back garden. That will go off, and then the tunnel, which is fed from the shed, eventually that will get disconnected as well, and it will all be off that cable. Charlotte has arrived with shopping. She has to walk the plank.
Yeah, it's not easy living with Colin, is it?
Got your bread. Got your milk for a cup of tea.
Look at that. Easy.
Now, before we can progress any further, we need to sort this gas pipe out. This Irish J should be sat on this pad here, but the gas pipe runs diagonally across the drive, meaning we can't move it over to the right anymore. Now, I'm not allowed to touch this part of the gas main, so we've got to get the gas board involved. Now, I'd like to point out they didn't arrive backwards, I just didn't film them arriving. Now, this is a dangerous procedure. They'll be cutting this gas pipe off live with gas still flowing through it. So the person in question needs to be calm, have a steady head and be well organised. Look at this van, look! What the hell's going on here? This is Andy. Andy likes taking roundabouts at 70 miles an hour. And then I started singing him a song. I do apologise, people. I don't know why I do it. He's not a flash man. He's the local gas man. And he'll come and move your gas pipe if you ask him. So, with it cut off and capped off, we could finally move our beam into place. Thank you, Andy. You did a fantastic job. Now go and tidy your van. Right, now we've got to sort this gate area out. Okay, there's quite a lot to do around here, quite a lot going on, because we've got the sump pump drain, we've got the drain from the car lid, the RSJ's got to be put back in position, and we need to sort out the drain for the main driveway. So I think rather than struggling around underneath, I might as well just bite the bullet and chop this whole bit out so we can get to what we're doing. Now, when there was a giant hole here, I was always worried that people standing on this would break away and fall off, and they'd end up falling to their death into the hole. But oh my God, would this thing not come off?
But you took it from the start. Don't you understand? You gotta let it go. Just let it go.
And with Freddy's supervision, the gas pipe is gone. Right, we've got the electric cable exposed, the gates are wobbling, everything's around here, we've just got to do a bit more chopping. Right, it's got the area cleared, just got to weld this beam in place. You've got to be careful bending round down here, because you can get violated by a bit of rebar. Now, I put these little green caps on it. I'm not sure if that's just making the situation worse. And now with the beams where they should be, it's time to turn this area into Spaghetti Junction. Now what we've got in here is the rainwater from the house, the main drain of the drive, the drain from the rim of where the cars come out, the outlet of the sump pump, the gas pipe will pass through here, the electric main is in here, and also there's an outlet for my bathroom sink. There's a lot going on here, which now leads me to a sentence I've been waiting to say for a long time. And now, for the final time, rebar. This is it. After this is done, the stuff can absolutely do one. I don't know if I've said before, but I'm not really very keen on rebar. It is the simplest of jobs. You're just laying flat lengths of bar over each other and tying them together. But they get hooked up on everything, they get stuck on everything, and it really does just test you. Now, it's not all rebarring. We've got to shutter off areas we don't want filling with concrete, and we've also got to lay in our new gas pipe. Now, as well as a new pipe, it also has to go inside a duct. And I found the best way to thread a pipe into a duct is by putting a massive heavy bit of stainless rod on the end, so you can just push it straight through and it guides itself nicely without getting caught on all the ribs of the sleeve. A beautiful tip there, Colin. We then weave this in the rebar mesh, which of course isn't finished yet. Here I am, 2.5 days into the rebarring. I'm still rebarring. Yep, this is serious now. Okay, it's now the 5th day of doing this. Now, I wasn't here all day yesterday. I was up at the barn in the morning. But still, I am officially definitely fed up with rebar now. And I think, if anything, the secret thing of this garage is not the secret garage, it's when's it going to be finished is the biggest secret. Now, the only thing we have got that's gone wrong today is this. has broke or something's not happening with it. It just will not work. Never works. So I'm going to see if I can try and fix this, because this is a massively important tool on this job at the minute. Okay, so what's happening? This little bit here is flicking out and it's not making it circle, which then gets grabbed by the little tie thing. Elastic bands round there seems to have fixed it. Hey! With the tool fixed, I could finish the rebar, and finally, the last tie went on. Any more rebar anymore. I cannot tell you how pleasing that is. Now then, obviously we've got to cover it in concrete. Chris Bibby's going to come and fill this up, but we was going to do this in two halves because we've only got scaffolding on this half of the room. But the three reasons why we don't want to do that: A, don't have to do it twice; B, we don't really want to join in it; and C, it'd be quite difficult to actually divide it up with like our foam board stuff and then be able to get that out to do the other side. So just ordered some more scaffolding, and we've scaffolded up the other side of the room. It's pretty hectic down there for scaffolding, but obviously we've got to have it, because if we pour this all in one go, I think I've worked it out, it's going to be about 55 tonnes worth of concrete. So that's what we've got to do. Chris Bibby's going to want 2 wagon loads, so him and Colin will be here, and this is kind of like the final Chris Bibby pour. What are we going to do? I mean, he's got his own song and everything. Chris Bibby!
And we bowed down all the hatches, and we rolled down the blinds, and we bowed down all the hatches. Sometimes I'd rather be blind than to have to see you cry. Oh! He took his share of bumps and knocks, and he took them on his chin. But time doesn't stop when his duty knocks. You don't have to let them in. Look through the hole and peer beyond of an older time we all feel fond of. There room for a smile. We sang goodbye fairly well until the sun was coming up. We sang goodbye fairly well until those things were looking up. We sang goodbye fairly well. Rearrange yourself.
So, with the concrete set, I'm finally nearly got a drive back. I've even put our names in it. Now, it's going to want a good week to set before I go driving on it, so I'm going to use this time to tidy up lots of little jobs. First up, where the concrete meets the steel, where the car lift's going to come out, I thought it'd be good to put a little bit of extra protection on it. So we got some black bitumen paint and went all along this seam. Then we put an extra layer of protective membrane over it in preparation for a new fence. The original fences from the neighbourhood were these white 2-rail picket fences, and I like these. Some people have still got them, so I'm going to replicate this, but I'm not going to do it in wood, I'm going to make it out of steel. I've started by bolting some plates to the floor, sticking the posts on, getting them all lined up and welding it all up.
You know you'll never live.
Now, I know a lot of you don't have the equipment to make a fence out of steel, and wood of course is far easier, but it does make a beautiful fence. Give it a nice coat of white paint, put the curb engines in, drop some gravel down the other side of it. I'm sold! Metal fences for the win! Next up is the ventilation pipe. Before we did all the rebarring, we actually exposed the pipe as it came out the ground and attached a small piece of plastic to it. We've now extended that along, up, inside the garage, then out of the steel roof with a cap on it. And then the gas board arrived to connect the gas pipe up. Now, it's not Andy today. What do you think? Andy's been sent to tidy his
van up, because look at this, look. This is what it's supposed to look like.
This time they have to dig up the whole path to expose the gas pipe which feeds the whole neighbourhood. Then again, using breathing equipment, they take the old connection piece out and put a new connection piece in which they can attach the new plastic pipe to. Then they use this rather intimidating tool to kind of force its way underneath my path to guide the pipe through to where it needs to be. Oh my God, look at this thing go. Come on everybody, take your thoughts out of the gutter. So with the gas reconnected, I think it's now time to take all these acro props down. Now, some of them seem to be under more tension than others. Some of them come straight undone, some were under a little bit more pressure. And this was another one of those jobs we thought we'd get done in no time. Took us all day getting this lot back out again. Even devised a genius winch system using the back of the van. Very cunning, Colin. Look at it. And now with the concrete set, we've removed our cover where the car's going to go down so we can properly see the roof, because I think now is the time to drive on it for the first time. And what better first vehicle than the old Hilux? Now, I was never worried that the whole thing was going to collapse, but I was very excited to be able to do this after such a long time. I finally got to drive! And just to make sure there was no issues, I put up my lighting pole right up to the ceiling, drove on and see if there was any deflection.
Absolutely nothing.
And there we are, that's a milestone passed. Okay, so that's the main construction of it done. Obviously the top surface, the finished layer is not on there. So the next jobs are all back inside. Okay, there's the 3D printed rock wall, sort of on that. Then I need to make a door, it needs a fire door, it's a garage. And then of course the most exciting part is then I've got to build the car lift. And then once the car lift's installed, I can then start doing the rest of the room, like with the workbenches, the floor level, and then of course the top surface can go on, and then we're done. So I feel like we're in a slightly different phase of things now, because it's all internal and it's like the appliances, the fixtures and fittings. Now then, special thanks to Newark Steel. They have supplied the steel for this project. As you can see, it is a huge and expansive room. Thank you so much for them. So if you want steel, go and get it from Newark Steel or the Barrett Steel Group. Also, thanks to the people that supplied the aluminium tracking that went on next door's drive. That was absolutely so useful. Tom could track about that on the digger. It was way better. Excellent. What a fantastic idea. And of course, thanks to you guys for following on this epic project. I feel like you've all been on this journey with me, and when I look back at previous videos where I'm like getting bits to drop into bits, it's like crazy how far this has come. I know it's probably going to be over like a 2-year period by the time it's finished, but still, what a project. Right, now I'm going to leave you with an unedited version of my attempt at the Chris Bibby song. I'm sorry, but I thought I've got to have a go, ain't I? Subscribe. See you in the next one. Whoa, Chris Bibby, Bam-a-lam. Whoa, Chris Bibby, Bam-a-lam. We're gonna bring concrete in this big white bang, gonna pour it in as to my plan. Whoa, Chris Bibby, Bam-a-lam. Whoa, Chris Bibby, Bam-a-lam. He's a volumetric kind of man. He's gonna bring concrete in his big white bang. Oh yeah!